Good morning. It is Saturday college football kickoff showtime right here on Pub Sports Radio. Saturday, November 13th. Ian Cameron, Conor Mac, Big Ragoo, DJ, Big Boss. We're ready to take you through the entire Saturday college football slate. Let's jump right into it. We've got West Virginia taking on Kansas State in Big 12 action. Kansas State 6-point home favorites here, 47 being the total in this game. It should be an interesting matchup. You've got two teams that have had pretty decent seasons, I guess you could say, and we'll see who ends up getting the better of the other here. West Virginia's played some better football down the stretch, a little up and down, 4-5. They've had some good results, some not so good throughout the course of the year, coming off a drubbing at the hands of Oklahoma State. But prior to that, they had won 2 in a row against Iowa State and TCU. Kansas State, on the other hand, 3 straight wins, beating down TCU, beating down Kansas. I don't think the latter is saying all that much, but nevertheless, Kansas State has been better offensively since getting their quarterback, Skylar Thompson, back. For West Virginia, they had shown some uptick offensively till last week when they got shut down by Oklahoma State. The concern for me here, K-State run defense is very good, and they may be able to contain Letty Brown. If they do that, is Jarrett Dagey good enough to maybe be able to carry this team to victory through the air, throwing the football? I'm not so sure. Lean West Virginia, but it's not a strong opinion. Probably would lean to the under as well. What do you think here, Connor? West Virginia, K-State.
This one was a lean for me. I couldn't get to the window. I want a little more points with West Virginia. I thought, I needed over a touchdown with them. I thought you mentioned this on the Monday show, Ian, that West Virginia's kind of owned this, when they play Kansas State. So that perked my interest. So it was just a lean. K-State's won 3 in a row, like you talked about. Thompson's back. I don't know if Dagey can do it on the road. West Virginia's played better in spots on the road. But, yeah, I lean the points and I lean under. It's the only 2 I'd have in this ballgame.
Yeah, 4-0 straight up in ATS last 4 meetings for West Virginia. So they have done well head-to-head. What do you like here, Big Ragoo?
My concern for West Virginia is the run game right now. They're barely getting 100 yards a game, and with the K-State run defense, it's either K-State or pass. I mean, I know West Virginia's a little tougher at home, but K-State, I think they might be able to throw the ball on K-State, into the secondary a little bit, but they're going to have to establish a run. So I think it bodes well to the under. I would lean towards the under in this spot.
All right, DJ, Big Boss, what do you like?
Well, it's a bowl eligibility week, so it looks like K-State has been pulling it off, I can say, 6-3 overall, and the West Virginia team is just not clicking on offense, but they do have a solid defense. Sometimes you can rely on the history and the matchup, which would probably lead you on to the West Virginia side, but right now you got to take the hotter team, so I would definitely take K-State, and I would definitely be leaning to the under on this one.
Yeah, Jarrett Dagey's one of those quarterbacks where his passing yardage numbers are all right. He's getting usually around 250 a game, but he's only thrown 11 touchdowns and 8 interceptions as well. That's not the ratio you want to see out of your quarterback. UConn and Clemson. We've got Clemson 41-point home favorites here, 51. This is just an easy pass for me. I'm not ready to lay 41 with Clemson, even against UConn. I know UConn is just awful. I get it, but that's a lot of points to be laying with a Clemson team that's still on the season just 2-7 against the spread. However, I'll say this. They actually have covered 2 in a row. The Florida State victory, although we know why they covered that. It was the lateral on the last play. Brutal if you had FSU in that game. And then last week, they came from behind and rallied to beat Louisville. So we'll give Clemson credit for that. But now you got to lay 41 against, obviously, an inferior opponent. You wonder if UConn's even going to score in this game, because the one thing about Clemson is their defense is still pretty good. So I don't know. It's maybe the under, but I'm going to stay off it. Connor, what about you?
God damn, I want to take these points so bad. I haven't done it. I mean, this is 41 with Clemson. They could win 42-0. I don't think so, though. I'd only take the points. I'd lean under as well. But that's enough with this game. We got to give a shout-out to our guy, Orlando. This guy gave us a $50 dono.
Oh, shit. I forgot to.
So we got to hit him up, man. We appreciate it. And everyone in the chat. Nutflush, Allen, Cab, Mr. Gokster, my guy, Nuke Worker, Lucas Ryan, RW, all the guys in the chat, Raymond, Johnny K, we appreciate it. Let's get rolling. I'd only be on the points. There is no freaking way I'm laying 41 with Clemson, period.
Johnny K might have the most gutsiest bet placed in a YouTube chat and a show I've ever done on this channel, saying
Got money
UConn
line?
money line. Wow.
Good luck.
Wow. Although Clemson, their offense is even their offense can move the ball and score, I think, 28-30 against this team. But I guess we'll have to wait and see see if they can prove me right there. What do you think, Big Ragoo?
I don't think this is going to be a Stanford USC game when USC was favored by 40 and Stanford beat them outright. Remember that Harbaugh, one of his last stands at Stanford. But anyways, I can't even hold my nose and bet Connecticut in this spot here, man. And we know how challenged Clemson is putting points up, but it is a dead pass. Maybe look towards the team total. Maybe with Connecticut, maybe Clemson holds them down, possibly, but no other way to look at it for me.
Absolutely. All right, DJ Big Boss, what do you like here?
Nobody's laying that kind of points on a Saturday on a team like Clemson, but yet and still, they still try to make a case for you to bet Clemson or even bet against them. But, if I had to take a shot at this one, I'd definitely go after the under in the total. Clemson been an under machine.
Whoops, there we go. All right, next up we got, as we continue along, this is one of the big ones, Michigan and Penn State. Michigan, 1.5, 2-point road favorites, 48.5 the total. Money is coming in here on the Wolverines in this game, and I would lean to that side. It's a small bet for me on Michigan. I can't bet Michigan on the road as a small favorite against a pretty good team more than that, because we just have not seen the track record of Jim Harbaugh winning games like this at Michigan on the road against quality competition. We already saw them lose to Michigan State a couple weeks ago. Now, they did beat Wisconsin. That was the one piece of evidence that, pretty good win against a good team. Wisconsin was kind of not all together at that time. Wisconsin's actually played a lot better, in recent weeks, but it just can't be anything more than a small bet for Michigan. And the reason why it's a small bet for me at all on Michigan is because I do think they're the better of these two teams. And Penn State, has just been too erratic. I don't like the fact that they lost 3 in a row. To Iowa, to Illinois was a bad loss. Ohio State, they fell short. They did beat Maryland last week, but they actually had more difficulty with a downtrodden Maryland team than I thought. They won the game 31-14, and they did cover. They were only plus 37 total yards. They were only plus 0.8 yards per play in that game. So it's not like Penn State was a dominant team in that football game. So, I do think Michigan does have the better squad. I think they are capable of winning this game on the road, but we've seen this before where, they're facing teams that are close to their level, and they've found ways to lose, especially on the road. So for that reason, I'm keeping it small. My betting action here on the Wolverines in this one. What do you like here, Conor Mac? The big one in the Big Ten, Wolverines, Nittany Lions.
I can't take Michigan. I just can't do it. Not laying a number. I just can't do it. I mean, they're not catching points. They're laying points on the road. Harbaugh loses on the road. They might be a little bit better than Penn State, but I don't know much. I'd only be on Penn State. I'm not on this game at all, but I'd look under. I don't trust either of these quarterbacks. They're going to want to run it. I think they both have pretty good defenses. So I'd look to the under 48.5.
All right, liking the under, Big Ragoo.
This game sets similar to that Kansas State-West Virginia game matchup-wise. Michigan's Penn State struggling to move the ball on the ground. They have had success the last couple games against Ohio State and Maryland putting the ball up in the air, but those two pass defenses are a little underrated or overrated, should I say, especially on the Ohio State side. We know they've been struggling, but I would have to look towards the under in this spot also. I'm not comfortable like Connor. I've never been comfortable putting points up on the board with Michigan. I like them in a dog roll. And Penn State, I'm usually liking them in Happy Valley, especially catching points, but their run game is a little shaky, and it might make – Clifford's found his spot, I think, now, but I think they're going to be ready for him. So I would lean under or pass in this spot.
Yeah, and the one thing about Clifford is he's made mistakes under pressure, and they've got a couple of guys that can really bring the heat on opposing quarterbacks, Michigan. So he's got to stand in there, make good decisions. And sometimes when you get Sean Clifford off his spot and he's not able to set his feet, that's when the mistakes happen. I mean, this guy, we've seen him now for, 2 years, 3 years as Penn State quarterback. That's when he makes
10 years?
Feels like 10.
Forever.
Feels like it, yeah. Feels like he's lived his whole life there in Happy Valley. DJ, what do you like?
Hey, I'm gonna take a whole nother view at it. Forget the X's and O's, the numbers and all that. Hey, I'm gonna throw this one from the shoulders, man. Harbaugh needs this win. I mean, if you can't get these kids up off their ass to beat this team today, then you might as well throw in the towel because your seat is on fire right now. This is your last chance to either stay in any kind of competition to go to the playoffs or even a nice bowl game or even to keep your job right now, Harbaugh. I know you're listening to me, Harbaugh. Harbaugh, if you don't win this game today, you ain't shit.
I love it.
There we go. DJ Big Boss.
Good luck.
Bring 'em
Win
up.
a damn game on the road. A good opponent and a big game, please. I'll give him the Wisconsin game. That was nice, but this will be better. All right, if you win this game here today. So hopefully he can get it done. If that doesn't fire him up in the team from what DJ Big Boss just said, nothing will. All right, next up we've got as we continue on here, it is Rutgers and Indiana. Indiana 7-point home favorites, 42. I ain't laying a touchdown with Indiana right now. I'm just not doing that. Not interested at all, in fact. But I do have some concerns about the Rutgers side. Noah Vidral's been banged up and injured and was supposed to be questionable for this football game. That's definitely something that concerns me going into this one here today. We'll have to see the latest on his status, which I am just looking at right now. Vidral, yeah. So it's going to be game time decision for him, which means it'll be either Cole Snyder or Evan Simon at the quarterback spot. And both guys, I don't believe, have thrown a pass for Rutgers. So that's the concern there. Of course, for Indiana, they've got all kinds of quarterback injuries. Michael Penix done for the year. Jack Tuttle, lower body injury. Donovan McCulley, the third quarterback, is also injured on this Indiana team. So who's available and who's healthy for them in this game is a big-time question mark at the moment. Right now, it appears to me that McCulley is likely going to be the guy at quarterback here. But obviously, he's definitely been erratic, to say the least, and had his struggles. When you look at what he was able to do against Indiana, it wasn't good. Against Michigan, 10 for 24. 88 yards. He had a couple of lost fumbles. I mean, just nothing from the quarterback position. So, again, Vidral may or may not play, but I would still only take Rutgers here, a +7. There's no way I'm laying a touch. And look, Rutgers, to be honest with you, they had the bad game against Wisconsin last week, but they did beat Illinois. And I find they play teams that are more in their weight class. They can compete. And we've seen that throughout the year. So I would only look at the Rutgers side here as a touchdown road underdog. Conor Mac, what do you like?
Yeah, that game against Wisconsin. Real quick, shout out to my guy Maxwell Smart. Yes, I do like college basketball. Do you? Yeah, Max. And I'll be all talking to you later about some of the games. On here with this one, I lean Rutgers with the points. I just don't let Wisconsin kind of took it to them in the second half. I thought they played okay early. This is under. There's with these quarterbacks. I don't know how either team gets more than 14 points. So give me the under 42.5 here.
All right, under 42.5, big Ragoo.
All right, Indiana, 1-8 technically ATS with the lone win coming against Idaho. All the resters are L's basically. They had maybe a push in a 3.5, depending on when you got it in. Rutgers at home, defensively, they'll step up. Indiana, not much going offensively. Pretty good defensively, too. So, they're going to offset each other, the defenses in this game. It bodes well to the under, but I like the home team getting the points here. Indiana hasn't shown me shit all year. I'm going to take Rutgers plus and the money line. Sprinkle.
All right, Rutgers plus the points and the money line for Big Ragoo. All right, DJ Big Boss, what do you like?
Man, what happened to this Indiana team? I think many weeks back, they were getting like +3.5 to Michigan State or something like that. Now all of a sudden the lights are out and something's going on over there. So too many problems going on to begin to take Indiana. So the only way is Rutgers right here. But Rutgers, the game will have to be a pass for me because Rutgers coming off of a bad loss, and I don't know if they fired up to do this on the road.
Yeah, that's going to end up being the big question. Can they go on the road? They did beat Illinois on the road, Rutgers, just recently. So we'll see if they can get it done here today. Houston and Temple. Houston, 24.5-point road favorites, 52.5 the total in this one. Early in the year, Temple was, showing some signs of life. They beat Memphis. I'm still wondering how they did that. and they were starting to compete, hang in there, play a little bit better. And boy, it's just been brutal for them the last 4 games. 0-4 straight up, 0-4 against the spread. They're not a good football team, but when you're losing some of these games like to South Florida by 20, to UCF by 42, 49-7, and then against East Carolina 45-3 November the 6th or last weekend, I think the Q word has to come out. That maybe they've quit. Maybe they've packed it in here, Temple. When you're losing like that, I mean, you have to call into question just how much effort and care that these players have at the moment. I mean, that's just terrible football. The offense has suffered mightily, and I don't know what's happened to it, but a guy that showed some promise early in the season, DeJuan Mathis, it's been tough for him since then. It was so bad for him last week. He got benched and Justin Lynch took over, and he wasn't any better. 6 for 20 throwing the football. So there's no way I want anything to do with Temple right now. It would be Houston or nothing for me in this game, to be quite honest with you. You're seeing the margin of defeat the last couple of weeks, 42 to UCF, 42 to East Carolina. Houston's better than those two teams. I would only lay the big road chalk here, and I still might, because Temple's not given me any sign of life the last 3 weeks. What do you think? And their defense is horrible, absolutely brutal as well. Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, you said everything here. For me, it's just lay it with Houston. I don't love laying, 24.5 on the road, but Temple is that bad. I mean, they're getting their ass kicked. You talked about they're getting beat by 20 by South Florida, Cincinnati, all these games, Central Florida, East Carolina. Houston takes care of business. Tricky. I think they win by 30. So lay it. Frickin' lay it. What the hell am I talking about? Lay it, baby.
Good stuff.
Don't even think about it.
Big Ragoo, what do you think?
Yeah, the last 2 games in is indicative of where Temple season, where they're going in that direction. At the same time, I think this game I'm kind of hoping that Temple could maybe push it over a little bit, because I think it's like 52.5. I think the team total for Houston is like 39.5. So I think Houston will score in bunches here. They might need a little bit of help from Temple to push it over the total, but I'm going to take Houston team total over 39.5 and over a game 52.
There you go. Over the total for the full game and the team total over. I think the team total is actually a pretty good option here. You're seeing this Temple team give up 49-45 the last 2 weeks. And Clayton Tune and the Cougars offense, balanced offense, they're good enough to put up points. I mean, their offense kind of struggled early in the year, but lately it's been a whole lot better. They put 54 on the board against South Florida, 44 against SMU, 40 against Tulane, 45 against Tulsa. So they've shown the ability to put up big points, and they certainly should do that here. DJ Big Boss, what do you like here?
It's a pass for me, but I would lean under, because Houston defense is just outstanding. That's their bread and butter is their defense. But the offense plays well as well. But Temple's offense is doing so bad. I don't even know if they get on the board today, or how many times they can get on the board if they do get on, because Houston brings it tough. But who knows? It's kind of late in the season. It's kind of mediocre opponent. Team can lose focus. Just kind of trappy right there. One I'll stay away from.
All right, next up, we've got, as we continue along, Syracuse and Louisville. Louisville, 3-point home favorites, 55.5, 56 being the total in this one. We talked about this one on Monday's Hitting the Book show with me and Connor, and Syracuse has been my money train, essentially, the last several weeks. I've been on them every week. Florida State was on them. Wake Forest was on them. Clemson was on them. Virginia Tech was on them. And even their last game 2 weeks ago before their bye week, laying the points, still took Syracuse against Boston College, and they got the job done 21-6, and they're off a bye week here. I'm on them again. Syracuse +3. Garrett Schrader has been a nice, upgrade for the offense. They've been able to run the football with Tucker, who's had an outstanding year running the football for Syracuse. On the flip side, you got Louisville coming off a really tough 30-24 loss to Clemson at home, and I worry about their ability to bounce back here. It was a tough loss. They had a fourth quarter lead. They let it slip away. Clemson gets the victory. The one concern here is Louisville's owned Syracuse the last couple of years, and Syracuse hasn't been able to stop the run against Louisville, and that's the one concern I might have going into this game. They've struggled against that Louisville offense. But you look at Syracuse this year and what they're doing defensively, they're only giving up 127 rushing yards per game, 3.4 yards per carry. So their run defense numbers are pretty good. So I think they got the potential to go into Louisville here, the whatever they call that, so Papa John Stadium or whatever, and takes and Syracuse can get the job done here at +3. I'm on the orange. In terms of the total, I could see it going either way. If the run defense issues show up for Syracuse against Louisville like they did the last 2 years, it could go over, but they seem to have better numbers against the run this year. And again, if Louisville can't run the football, that makes their offense a lot more ineffective and limited with Malik Cunningham. He's got to have that run game to support him. So lean, I guess, slightly to the over, but I like the Syracuse side +3 in this one. Connor, what do you like?
Yeah, I'm not going to get involved here. I don't want Louisville. They just haven't looked too good at home. You talked about they've kind of owned Syracuse the last few years. Syracuse has been a moneymaker, though. I mean, to lean on the side, I take the 3 points. I wish I was getting more than 3 just to be safe. If I had over 3, I'd like it a little bit better. So, yeah, I lean Syracuse here.
All right, Big Ragoo.
I'm going to be totally off of this game, but I'll give you a little info on it. Basically, you got both teams that are trying to fight for bowl eligibility, and this is a must-win game for Louisville to get bowl eligible because on deck they have Duke. If they can probably get by Duke, they're gonna need to win this one and beat Duke because then they have Kentucky last game of the season. Syracuse-wise, they got to play Louisville today, NC State and Pitt, so that's no easy task. So it's a must-win game for both. Both teams are going to give you their best effort. Now, I would think this game would probably finish either really low scoring or really high scoring. So I think they can score 37 points in this game, or I think they score 60. So you pick your poison. There's the info.
By the way, I'm guessing that Cunningham's going to play. I know he's had an ankle injury all week, but I think they say he's ready toward playing, is what I've last heard. So I would expect him to be in there at quarterback here for Louisville. And the fact the line hasn't budged, I think pretty much tells you that they expect Malik Cunningham to be a go in this game. Ian and Bear on Bear. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Chris Felica. Yeah, the guy on ESPN, Game Day. Yeah. The Bear, that's who you must be talking about. Yeah, Chris Felica. I know who you mean now. All right, DJ Big Boss, what do you think here?
Man, how can y'all read my notes from way over there, man? Same thing I got in my notes. Big Ragoo said this is the fight for bowl eligibility right here. It means the most to Louisville. Not only do they have the worst record, but the schedule looking ahead of them, of course. But the interesting one right here was Syracuse is 4-5 to the under, and Louisville is 3-6 to the under. And if Cunningham's going to play or not is going to be major to the total right there. So I would even say logically, just like Big Ragoo say, this game has a potential to go under. And you considering the athlete coming off of even if it was just a hiccup or whatever, that ankle's not 100%. That's for sure. So maybe they slow it down or, but the guy, he's very elusive. He gets his money on the ground and he throws the ball a little bit. So he's a real excellent athlete. I really like Cunningham in a lot of ways, but it'd be nice for Satterfield to get this win right here too. So I would lean Louisville, especially if Cunningham even starts, but I might get to the window with the under 55.5.
All right, next up as we continue on here through the noon Eastern early games on the slate here, we got a good one here, Oklahoma and Baylor. The money coming in on Baylor here. Oklahoma's down to 4, on the road here. 4-point road favorite, 62.5 the total. I kind of agree. Baylor's been another team that I've backed quite a bit this year. And I think in this game against Oklahoma, the question is, are they going to be able to match up against this Oklahoma offense, which obviously since making the quarterback change to Caleb Williams has been dynamic. It's been explosive. I do think Baylor's going to give up some points. I mean, they have had a pretty good defense all year, but games against some of the better teams and offenses, Iowa State, they gave up 29. And then, of course, against Texas, they gave up 24. And even in the loss last week to TCU, they gave up 30 to the Horned Frogs. So you got to believe that Oklahoma is going to score a decent amount here. They haven't been really stopped by anybody during this stretch. 37, 55, 52, 35, 52 points scored. He's just a much stronger arm. He can throw the deep ball. Williams, we've seen that since he's taken over the quarterback spot. But Baylor's offense has been very impressive. That's what's gotten better. And that's what's led them to this great season they've had where they're 7-2. It's that Jerry Bohannon has really progressed and gotten better throwing the ball. They obviously have a pretty good ground attack as well. You look at this Baylor team, They're running the ball extremely well, 231 rushing yards per game, 6 yards per carry. Oklahoma's run defense has been very good, though. So that's going to be the question. If that run game is taken away from Baylor, is Jerry Bohannon going to do it through the air? And I think he's more adept to do that now because his numbers have certainly improved as the season has gone along. He's gotten more confident. It's going to be a key, though. Can Abram Smith be able to run that football for Baylor today? And the Oklahoma run defense numbers, as I said, have been pretty good. But still, I like what I'm seeing from Jerry Bohannon. 15 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions this year, 65% completions. I think he can make plays through the air if for some reason they have some struggles running the football and keep this game close. I lean Baylor for sure. Total-wise could go either way, but you're not going to see me betting Oklahoma over with this offense and with the explosiveness they have showed. So I guess I'd lean over if I were to bet it, but I'm going to take a shot here. Baylor plus the points. Conor Mac, what do you like? Oklahoma, Baylor, a Big 12 matchup.
Yeah, Baylor got caught in that sandwich spot, it seemed like, in the TCU game. Looking ahead to this, they're at home. The key to Baylor is good Bohannon or bad Bohannon. When he was lights out, he had no interceptions. He's thrown 5 over the last few weeks, and he threw, I think, 2 last week.
Yes.
And TCU kind of got after Baylor's defense that had played well all year. They gave up 400 through the air. I think this one's close. I don't think Oklahoma's a top 5 team. I think they're maybe a top 15 team. I still don't trust their defense. It comes down to it. So yeah, it's the points with Baylor for me.
Yeah, and Oklahoma's right on that, that fringe of the playoff right now. So that's another concern. I mean, you always have a concern when you're on one side and then you're fading another side. But the one concern about fading Oklahoma in this spot is not only winning, but they wouldn't mind punching in a win by margin here if they can, if they're able to, based on where their standing is right now in the playoff rankings, because they're just barely on the outside looking in right now. Big Ragoo, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a tough spot for both teams. Not necessarily wins and losses, but looking at the ATS numbers. So Baylor's 5-0 at home, straight up, and ATS, and Oklahoma's 2-0 on the road, but 0-2 ATS. It's only third road game for them coming late in the season, but they're going to have a tough ask against Baylor here. The key to this game is for Baylor, if they can establish the run a little bit, then they'll be able to control some clock, which will probably bode well to the under. But then they're going to have to force to put the ball up in the air if Oklahoma shuts them down on the run, which they've been pretty decent. But both teams could reel off 200 games on the yardage on the run game, and then they're close to like 500 yards of offense both ways. So I think we'll see a competitive match. The key for Baylor is establish the run. I'm not on Baylor here. I know the line's ticking down, but I'm a little worried. I would have liked to get a little better. I like that 5 plus 5, 5.5. Now we're starting to hit 4s, and I don't trust it. I mean, I think it's going to be an entertaining game either way, but I'm not on the game. I pass.
All right, boss.
Well, we already know this one falls in my Texas category, even though technically Oklahoma's not in Texas, but there's like their little brother or something, and it's in the Big 12. So automatic, blindly over.
Yeah, I get the sense it could go over that total too, just because Baylor started to play a little higher scoring, and against teams that don't have that offensive explosiveness quite that Texas is good offensively. TCU can be solid offensively, but Oklahoma is a different animal, and that's what they'll be up against here today. Northwestern and Wisconsin. Wisconsin 25-point home favorites, 41 being the total in this one. Look, we got to give Wisconsin some credit. They're now 6-3. They've certainly turned it on the last 5 games, 5 straight wins. They've covered in 4 of them. And the offense has really started to light it up again for Wisconsin. Running the football, they've been solid. And even Graham Mertz, who I know has been criticized a lot, he's played better. But again, most of it's been on the ground, the success. But at least he's starting to move the ball a bit through the air, put up some touchdowns. He had 3 passing touchdowns. Not a whole lot of yardage last week, but 3 passing touchdowns in the victory against Rutgers. So he has played a little bit better. His completion rate still isn't great, but the key for Wisconsin is that they've been able to run the football a lot better lately, and because of that, they've obviously got to go with that defense, which is very good. They've been able to win some games. That defense has been outstanding. They haven't given up more than 14 points in 5 straight games, so they've been outstanding on the defensive side of the football. You wonder where the points are going to come from here for Northwestern. But I like Northwestern's effort. last week against Iowa. 12-point dogs, 17-12 loss. They actually outgained Iowa by 2 yards. Look, they made another quarterback change, and he made a lot of mistakes, Andrew Marty, at quarterback last week for Northwestern, 3 interceptions, but at least he threw for almost 300 yards, against a pretty good defense. And that's the problem with Hunter Johnson before him and Helinski. They just were not giving them anything throwing the football for Pat Fitzgerald and Wisconsin and Northwestern. At least with Marty, you had him throw for some yardage. He's just got to negate and cut out the mistakes. That's what he's got to improve on here in this game. When you look at Wisconsin, they've got a home game against Nebraska next week, and then they're at Minnesota. They've been starting to cover some numbers and winning by margin as well. I don't know if I'm ready to lay 25. And we saw Northwestern last week. It's not like they've rolled over they could have rolled over after getting drubbed by Michigan and Minnesota. They didn't do that. They fought hard against Iowa last week. I know they're 3-6. They got to win out to get a bowl game, and that's probably not going to happen. But this is just a lot of points, and I don't want to say I love Northwestern here, but I'd take the points before I lay this many with Wisconsin. Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, I look under here. So the last 5 games, they had 7. They won 21-7. Then they scored 7, 14 against Minnesota, and 12 last week. I think Northwestern team total under here. You could go the full game as well. Yeah, a ton of points with Wisconsin. They take care of them. I don't know. This game's 28-7. I mean, I don't think Northwestern gets more than a touchdown here.
Big Ragoo.
If you're looking for that touchdown margin for Northwestern, you got under 7.5 is -125, over is -105. So it has to be lean under for sure. But that was the spot I was looking to get involved with. But I think more full game under than anything. If Wisconsin gives up the ball, which they're prone to do, and then definitely it'll be an under type game. But I would lean under this spot. I don't like laying the 125 for the 7.5, even though it's probably the more solid of the two. But, never know. A turnover here, a turnover there, then you could be looking at 10, 13 points for Northwestern. So under full game, lean.
Yeah, and Andrew Marty's going to be the future quarterback for Northwestern. Helinski's just a transfer. Hunter Johnson's just been in Auburn, been all kinds of places, and he's never been able to stick because he's just not very good. That's why he's not been able to stick. So I think if you're Pat Fitzgerald, never mind those 2 guys that transferred in, Johnson and Helinski. Just stick with this guy. He's your future. He's your young up-and-coming guy at quarterback, if you can consider him that here at Northwestern. Just give him the starts the rest of the way. Boss, what do you like here?
Man, this old stupid-ass game right here that I done got involved with, man, this shit is crazy. So I got into this game thinking Wisconsin has been doing much better, and I was thinking about laying the points with Wisconsin. But as I broke the game down, Northwestern, I mean, they fit it. Like, they're upside down. They're scoring 18 points a game. They're giving up 26 points a game. Wisconsin has the time of possession over them. They're getting the ball for 34 minutes, and they're getting it for 27 minutes. But this is a revenge game from last year when Northwestern, messed up Wisconsin. And if you go in the history of them, Northwestern has covered 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two. So just like Big Ragoo said, I kind of like the under, but the number is really, really low. So I had to weigh between the number on the under and how many points I could get with Northwestern. So technically, the points I'm gonna get with Northwestern has more value to me than taking that short number on the under. So I took Northwestern plus the points.
Yeah, I'm with you. I lean that way too. No doubt about it. Northwestern plus the points. I think it's a situation where they could hang in this game. No doubt about that.
But it's difficult too because even blindly, without seeing the team total, I was just like Conor Mac. I said team total under for Northwestern. How are they going to score points? But this game and some of the matchups that they had, 17-7. 21-10. Yep. We got action at the plus 24.5, so I took it.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's a lot of points in this kind of spot, which could be a little bit at least of a flat spot here. All right, next up as we continue along here, we've got still a lot of early noon games to go through here. Next up on the slate, we've got it is East Carolina, Memphis. Next up, we got Memphis 4.5-point home favorites, 59 the total in this game. Memphis, a great win last week against SMU. Seth Hennigan, pretty solid quarterback. He's played really good at times this year. There's been some games he struggled, but obviously last week was not one of those times. Played very well, leading Memphis to a 28-25 win over SMU. But they were dogs. They won outright as home dogs. Now they're laying points. It's a little bit of a different situation. They've not been great laying points this year. They're 1-3 ATS. Last four is a favorite. The only cover was against Navy, and it was a fortuitous cover. I mean, they just barely got it done. They need a late touchdown to punch it in to cover that number against Navy. That's the only cover as favorites lately. And East Carolina is really playing some good football. You look at their results, 4-2 the last 6 games. They've covered 5 straight, 5-0 ATS run for East Carolina coming into this game. Their defense has really improved. 17 points allowed the last 2 weeks. Granted, Temple and South Florida were the opponents. But they played better defense. They played solid enough against a good Houston team, gave them a chance to win. They lost in overtime by 7. They shut down Central Florida, held them to 20 points, and only lost that game by 4. So they haven't shown any signs of losing by margin. I don't trust Memphis now as a favorite off an outright underdog win against SMU. I'm on East Carolina here, plus 4.5, and I've been on East Carolina a couple of times lately. I took them against Houston. I took them against Temple last week and laid the points. Holton Ahlers has been pretty solid. The offense has really perked up the last 3 or 4 games, and I think they got a chance to win this one as well. So for me, it's East Carolina plus 4.5. Lean to the over as well. Conor Mac, East Carolina, Memphis.
Shout out to our guy, Jake from State Farm, Jake the Snake. He says, pretty damn good slate today. Let's get this money. Let's get it, Jake. Thanks for the dono. $10. Yeah, this is East Carolina with the points. Every time I know Memphis got that cover against Navy on that game. That was a Thursday. Every time. Yet last week they were catching those points. Everyone seemed like they were on SMU. I thought that was perfect for Memphis, and they ended up winning. I didn't know if they'd win. But now that they're laying over a field goal, yeah, this is East Carolina. I think Ahlers, he keeps you in the game, and their defense has played a little bit better throughout the year. So, yep, I'm on East Carolina here.
And both teams 5-4, which means both teams 1 win away from bowl eligibility. So, pretty important game here for both teams. Big Ragoo.
Yeah, both teams in this row are money makers. 3-1 ATS for East Carolina, 4-1 for Memphis. And I looked at all the Memphis games that they played at home. Their only hiccup was basically to a pretty solid UTSA team where they were giving up 2.5 and they lost by a field goal there. All the other ones, Navy, Mississippi State, SMU. So they've been quality wins at home. But you're coming in against a red-hot ECU team, and their defense is giving up like 17, 18 points a game on the road. The points look pretty good here with ECU, and maybe a lean towards the under of all things.
All right, lean to the under and like an ECU. Boss.
This one, I took a good look at this one too, and this right here, one of the big ones is whoever wins this game is going to open up bowl eligibility for them. Between the two teams together, it'll be about 69 pass attempts for over 570 yards. So I'm leaning on the overside of that one, but I definitely agree with you guys with ECU. ECU on defense holding teams to 29% on third down, which is very impressive, although they have the number 77 ranked defense. But funny fact about this game right here is that both of these teams, it could almost be a bum fight because they almost both upside down. Who is this? Memphis is scoring 31 and giving up 29. East Carolina is scoring 30 and giving up 24. So they both borderline bums, but this is a really exciting game for both of them. So these kind of things sometimes just go over somehow. But the quarterback over there, Hingen, this is going to be his second game back. Which could cause a problem and be an edge for ECU because they have a little more tape to see him. When he bounces back one time, who knows, how he is. But this second one, they got a good look at him, and this defense is going to be hungry. So I took ECU plus the points, but I'm thinking about adding that over. Not to the window on the over yet.
Right, good stuff. Pretty harsh there from DJ Big Boss calling them bums here. 5-4 teams. Hey. they're not bums. We got to give them cut them a little slack. They're
Hey,
solid teams, both of
hey,
them.
it don't make sense if you giving up more points than you putting on the board. You know, that's when you start getting a little bummish right there.
Mini bums, yeah, bummish. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. They're okay teams. They're not great teams. We'll definitely agree with that. Ski in the house. Look at that. Ski Profit in the chat.
Ski.
Welcome in early on a West Coast Saturday morning. Good to see.
Coming
Ski
to get
with
that
us.
money is what he's doing.
Exactly. Want some college football info. Absolutely. All right, next up, we've got Mississippi State, Auburn. Auburn, 4-point home favorites, 51 the total in this one. All the money coming in on Mississippi State. And look, I like them early in the week. It's getting low now, but, it's hard to argue with what Mississippi State's doing. All they're doing is cashing in for their backers. And for years, they've been a good bet as an underdog under Mike Leach. And it's other than the Alabama game where they got annihilated, it's been a good bet with Mike Leach as an underdog this season, too. They won outright as a dog against A&M. Beat NC State as an underdog. The Arkansas game last week, they cover as an underdog, but lose 31-28, but they did get the money in that game. Auburn coming off a tough loss against Texas A&M, their third loss of the season. Really stinging loss because that really puts them, effectively out of the SEC West race. It probably puts them out of a New Year's Six bowl conversation, and you wonder where that leaves them in terms of focus, psyche, all of those things here. Laying points, even though they're back home against this Mississippi State team. And Auburn's defense, when you look at them, against the run, they've been pretty solid. Against the pass, they've given up some yardage, though. 242 through the air for the Auburn Tigers defense. And the Auburn defense is, in terms of the pass, worse than they are against the run. And, that's not what you want against Mike Leach teams and that air raid offense. And Will Rogers is definitely getting comfortable in this offense. I find he's gotten a lot better this year compared to years past. His completion rate is consistently in the 70s or higher in a lot of games. 23 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He still makes the odd bad decision, but a lot of those were in the Alabama game. He made some mistakes there. But more than often than not, he's done a much better job running this air raid, pass-heavy Mississippi State offense. So I'm kind of with the markets here. If I were to get involved, I would only look to the Bulldogs here as a road dog. Conor Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I've been on Mississippi State a lot this year. They've been good on the road. It's just a lean to catching the points. I also lean the under in this game. I think it could stay under the 51.
Yeah, I mean, Mississippi State's defense deserves credit. They're better than some people think as well. They've had some solid performances this year. Struggled a bit last week against Arkansas. And if good Bo Nix shows up, that could be trouble today. But it was bad Bo Nix last week against A&M. That was by far, with all the credit he's been getting, he laid an egg. He laid a 2020, 2019 performance of Bo Nix last week against A&M. Big Ragoo.
Yeah, I think it's a correlation game with Miss State. I think if you're on Mississippi State, you're going to have to kind of lean towards the over a little bit. If you like the home team, you got to lean Auburn on the underside. So I think, like you said, they have hit their stride. The quarterbacks hit their stride at Miss State. They're starting to open up deeper ball down the field. And Auburn's going to be more of a ground control type game. I think they're going to try to establish the run here and try to not keep points off the board, but kind of keep possessions going their way, time of possession. So I would actually maybe go a little contrarian here. I kind of lean towards the under, and I'm not like I like the fact that Mississippi State is getting the points, starting to drop their way. So to me, that kind of bodes well to the under, even though Auburn is probably going to, probably maybe squeeze a win out, but I don't think they cover. So I would take Mississippi plus the points and lean under at home.
All right, and
on
lean to the
Auburn.
under as well. We just cracked 300 live viewers. There it is again, 300 live viewers. Hit that like button. Make sure you do that. We thank each and every one of you for joining us on a Saturday morning to get ready for some college football. DJ Big Boss, what do you like in this game?
This game right here, I just want to watch, man. I should have been on Brady Harsin early in the season and tried to ride that out. He got some good wins under his belt. Maybe Texas A&M was just out of his range. He's done a good job with Bo Nix, getting them on the field, getting them focused. Maybe things just fell off last week. So, if I would have been riding that train so far, I would definitely take Auburn in this spot right here. But because I just can't trust Leach over there with Mississippi State. It's a pass for me.
All right, a pass for DJ Big Boss in this one. All right, we continue along here. Next up, Central Florida, SMU. SMU 7-point home favorite, 61.5 the total. SMU looking to bounce back here. 2 losses in a row all of a sudden for SMU. Heartbreaker against Houston, maybe a little Houston hangover last week against Memphis, losing to the Tigers. And one of the worst offensive performances of the year last week from Tanner Mordecai in this offense. Hasn't been stopped very often. Well, Memphis got enough stops against them last week to get the victory. We'll see if they can bounce back here against UCF, who are suddenly playing some pretty good defense. You look at UCF the last 3 weeks, 10 points or less. We don't think of UCF as stopping many people, but Gus Malzahn has this team playing some solid defense. On this, at the same point in time, though, this offense is hella sketchy with no Dylan Gabriel. We've talked about that for weeks now. Mikey Keene, just at least not right now, he just ain't it. You know, maybe he's going to develop, give him time and under Malzahn here at UCF to get better, but he's not there yet for this UCF offense. We'll see if he can put up enough points. They better hope that defense shows up again today, because if they get behind SMU, they're not the kind of offense right now to come from behind. So I don't really have a strong opinion on this one, side or total. I mean, it really depends on what we get from UCF on either side of the ball. If Keene struggles, it's going to go under. If Keene plays well, it can show some kind of capability here against SMU's defense, then it could go over. You are going to get both teams playing fast, but I don't know. It's 61, and I don't know what we're going to get from the UCF offense. I just don't. Connor, thoughts here?
Real quick to answer Birdie's question, no, there's no college basketball show. After a few weeks of college
We're going to
football
try to
being
turn
done,
this into college basketball, and I'm going to see if I can squeeze my way into joining Connor and Maxwell Smart on Saturdays after college football season. I think I'm going to talk to Jeff about that, see if we can get that rolling late December into January after college football.
Yeah, we'll be on Saturdays just after college football. And we're maybe max the next few weeks we'll do something in the afternoon, at least for the late games. Real quick with Vitalis, yeah, the guy, we all talked about it. I mean, initially, I think it's a coin flip if Northwestern can get over that 7.5. We kind of went through that earlier. I think just the full game under. That's going to be my look in that Wisconsin game. Here, I got to take the points. Central Florida all of a sudden can, his defense has been there. And what's up with SMU? I've kind of faded them the last few weeks. Now they're laying this number. I know they're at home. I lean under a little bit in this game. I take the points and lean under here.
Someone in the chat saying Maxwell swears too much. We all swear too much, don't we? I mean, that's Pub Sports Radio. We just we let it fly. We let it rip. I try to,
there's a few others other than Max. I think that swears.
We all
drop an F-bomb.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
We all drop some
Ragoo,
F-bombs.
what do you like here?
All right, listen. We know UCF has athletes. They always recruited well, even though it's first year Gus. He's kind of he's very pedestrian in the offensive category with the backup coming in, and I wouldn't even call it game manager. I just kind of get through the game type of thing. Not to make the mistake. So he's putting the onus on the defense, and we could have a double hangover for SMU in this spot. So I would lean towards the under here until SMU shows me they get back on track. They're going to have to do it today. I'm not comfortable laying the 7, and I'm really not comfortable UCF putting up points here, even though they can possibly. SMU's pass defense is suspect, but this is not the team to expose that. So I would lean towards the under and stay off the side either way.
Boss.
I agree with Big Ragoo. But this is going to be a good one to watch right here. SMU is 4-0 at home, and UCF got all their losses on the road. So I don't know if they travel well. That's a big thing in college sports, traveling well and home crowd participation and all that good stuff. So this game could kind of swing either way right here. But I think if you do the X's and O's on the field, I think UCF has the edge in this one. Gus Malzahn has been inputting a good system, and it looks like the kids are buying into the system. So that's a good thing. Opposed to SMU, who has some hiccups lately, this is kind of like, I wouldn't really say a Cinderella season, but this is kind of like a season they were looking forward to. And those couple losses that they got could have set them back a little bit. But maybe SMU wins but doesn't cover or something. I don't know. But I'm going to leave it on. But I lean that under as well because both of them show spikes of good defense at times.
All right, next up, New Mexico State, Alabama. Alabama, 51-point home favorites here, 67.5, 68 the total. We get this nonsense every year with Alabama. We're just smack dab in the heat of the SEC conference season. They're playing one of these non-conference games or an FCS team or something like that. Pisses me off that this happens. Why don't you just play your whole SEC string? That they want that little break, and they're going to get it here against New Mexico State. I'm totally off this game. I mean, it's just too many points to lay, but I'm not wanting to take New Mexico State either. They lost 35-13 to Utah State last week. Alabama's at Kentucky next week, so they're back in SEC play. This is a game where even if they're up like 49-0 or 52-3 or something like that, do they punch in that late touchdown if they're up 50? Think about that. They're up 52-3 and you're still not covering in this game. So that's the problem here with laying this many points. So I'm totally off this game. By the way, we'll do some early best bets after this game because this is the last of the noon Eastern kickoffs. I know people always ask for an early best bet. We'll do that after this game. Conor Mac, what do you like?
Yeah, this is just a pass. That's the whole thing with Saban. You talked about this could be 52-0 at halftime, and then they'll give up a touchdown or a field goal, and they won't cover the full line. So maybe look first half. I don't know. I'm going to stay away from this one.
Big Ragoo.
You see what I'm doing?
Yep.
I'm holding my nose. I'm taking New Mexico plus the points. New Mexico State, that is 5-0 ATS on the road. 0-5 straight up. So who gives a shit? Cash your ticket, New Mexico State.
Yeah, they haven't lost any of those road games by more than 27 points either, but they haven't faced any Alabamas.
Screw Alabama.
Yeah.
They're overrated.
It's a lot of kind of
points. I'm winning 52-0 from the get, all right?
Yeah,
beat me at the end. I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll be cheering for 3.5 quarters.
They do have an offense. The question is, will the offense work here in Tuscaloosa?
It's a hold your nose play, fellas. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's
half a unit. Small play.
All right. Hey, I actually like that play, man. I like that play. New Mexico, they've been able to move the ball around on offense to just have trouble getting the ball in the end zone. And this Alabama's not the Alabama. I don't know if y'all see it as I see it, but this Alabama team this year is nothing like the ones from the past. They're not responding like they usually do. They're not as aggressive as some of the other Alabama teams. And they slip up in the secondary all the time and get beat, and that's not even counting the Texas A&M loss. That was just pure coach over coach right there. But as far as what Alabama's doing on the field, they like a step or two behind what they used to. So maybe that's enough to run that.
Just enough.
Yeah, just enough. 51-7. That's it.
That 51-7 and 52-3, you're a winner with New Mexico State. I mean, you got to really take that into consideration.
5-0, baby.
Yeah,
ATS.
and like I say, New Mexico State's had an offense too. I mean, they have backdoor. I don't care if it's the third string or second string defense for Alabama. New Mexico State with their offense has potential to go punch in a late score in the fourth quarter with Jonah Johnson and that offense. They've been pretty solid at times this year, so I could see why. It's a lot of points there in that one. All right, before we get to the rest of the card, we're going to do some early best bets. What is our best bets for the noon games? And mine is clear as day, mine. So I'm going to go first because of that. East Carolina plus 4.5 against Memphis. It's clearly my favorite play of the noon Eastern kickoff. So there you go. ECU Pirates. Conor Mac, what's yours?
That was mine as well. I have a play on Baylor, but I'm going to give you – I have the under in Rutgers, Indiana. That's my one. Rutgers, Indiana, under.
All right,
42.5.
Noon Eastern early best bet.
Noon Eastern early. I'm going to take the Wisconsin full game under.
All right, Wisconsin under against Northwestern. DJ Big Boss.
I'm going to hold my foot knee deep in a Wolverine ass and hope that he win. Michigan.
There we go, Michigan. Rolling with Jim Harbaugh. I like the guts, and it is guts to take Michigan on the road as a favorite against a.
I know they're laying points.
Penn State team. This is a big step back for him, for Michigan, and that whole program and his tenure as head coach there. If they lose this game today,
put up or shut up. That's all it is. Put up or shut up. And
I'm looking forward.
I'm a 49er fan, so I say Harbaugh pulls a rabbit out of his ass. And
we'll see. Better
victory.
Yeah, he'd better. All right, Georgia State, Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina, 13-point home favorites in this game, 52.5, 53 the total in this one. Certainly Coastal Carolina, outstanding football team. Georgia State, I should point out, they've basically gone to a different quarterback. It used to be Cornelius Brown. He's out of there now completely. Darren Granger has been the quarterback the last couple of weeks now for this Georgia State football team. This Coastal team, 5-0 straight up, 4-1 against the spread at home. But Georgia State is covered 4 straight. They've won 3 of those games. Now, Monroe, Texas State, Georgia Southern. But against Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns last week, right in the game, 13.5-point dogs. They lose by 4 at Louisiana in that game. And I know Coastal was impressive last week against Georgia Southern, 28-8. But they only outgained them by 72 yards. And before that, remember, they lost their first game to App State, and they barely beat Troy at the last time they were home favorites. I like Coastal. Of course, they're a great team, but they have just not been that same point spread value team they were last year. And against a team that's covered 4 straight like Georgia State, and look, they took the Cajuns down to the wire last week. I'm shocked that this money has continued to roll in here on Coastal Carolina, especially, yes, when you factor in that they're going to be going with Bryce Carpenter at quarterback today, who was solid last week, but Grayson McCall's still out with the upper body injury. He got his first start against Georgia Southern last week. Carpenter played well, but I'm a little bit shocked that the money keeps rolling in on the chance here. I would lean Georgia State. I probably will bet Georgia State now the more this line keeps climbing. Connor, what do you think?
I'm off this one, but I'm with you. Georgia State, it's nothing, just been covering lately. No McCall for Coastal. I'd lean to take the points with them.
All right, Big Ragoo.
Let's keep the consensus going here. I would definitely lean with the Georgia State side with the McCall-less Coastal, but it tells you something about their program, right? They've been pretty solid even before McCall, and they'll probably be solid after with them. But Georgia State's been money on the road, 4-1 ATS. Let's keep it rolling. Georgia State.
Yeah, they've been good on the road, and again, Georgia State 4 straight covers, 4-0 ATS the last 4 games coming into today. Boss.
Hey, I like Georgia State defense. They know they move the ball around a little bit on offense, and no way in the world am I taking the Coastal Carolina team without McCall. Even with McCall there, they have a lot of close calls, all kinds of stuff. This is kind of one of the best teams. This Georgia State team is one of the best teams out of the Sun Belt. So this is a top action. It's not the Ragin' Cajuns, but these guys are good too. So I like this play right here. I'm gonna take those points right there and fade Coastal today.
All right, a lot of close McCalls, I guess you could say.
There you go.
Let's see if we can cause a line movement shift somewhere. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Raymond, to answer your question, and anybody that wonders, every underdog I take plus the points, I've got a percentage on the money line, a small percentage, usually 10, 15% of the bet is on the money line, 90 on the points. That's with every underdog in every sport. Just so you know, for future reference. All right, next up, we've got Utah and Arizona. Utah, 24-point road favorites, 54.5 the total in this game. Should be an interesting one here with Utah. Can they cover this kind of number? They're certainly capable. They just absolutely dismantled Stanford in their last game, Utah, and I want no part of stepping in front of Utah right now. I think this team certainly capable of winning the Pac-12 South, being in the Pac-12 championship game. Arizona's been feisty. There's no doubt about that. They have not rolled over, but I'm just not looking to fade Utah, so it's a pass. Connor, what do you think?
You nailed it. This is the same thing. Arizona's been a bit better at home, but I like Utah. And Utah's not the same team on the road, but they are rolling. It's just a pass. I don't want anything to do with it.
That Cam Rising can play. What a great job he's done with that quarterback for this Utes team since taking over. Big Ragoo.
Yeah, I'm with Connor. I'm passing on Utah on the road. Arizona a little bit better at home. I mean, we'll see if they can get to the number, but I don't trust Arizona in this spot, and I don't trust Utah either, so it's a pass.
There is a scenario where Utah can clinch the Pac-12 South today. If they win, and I believe Arizona State loses to Washington later tonight, those are the two. If those two things happen, Utah are Pac-12 South champs and would be in the Pac-12 title game.
They don't have to win by 24 to do that, though.
That's right. Of course. No doubt about that. Excellent point. DJ Big Boss.
We lost Boss.
No, I was muted.
Okay.
Utah's good team off top, but lost my train of thought. God damn. Arizona. Arizona, they've been implementing some different stuff. I can respect it for Arizona. On offense, they've been implementing some other movements, some other personnel, and they've been trying to do things to liven up this team. So giving them 24 points could be a spot, but inside the conference play right now, Utah trying to set their hopes and dreams high. It could be a massacre out there, but it's a pass. I'm Pac-12 very passive today. I don't really want to have nothing to do with them.
I got one more thing to say. I did have my numbers did have an under in this game. I apologize for not bringing that up, but I would lean strong to the under in this spot.
All right, lean to the under here. Western Kentucky Rice. We've got Western Kentucky 19-point road favorite, 61 the total. This is a freight train right now, Western Kentucky. This offense is just magnificent. It's fun to watch. They play extremely fast. Air raid offense, Bailey Zappi. It's a fun football team. 48, 45, 34, 43 points scored in their last 4 games. Rice, on the other hand, they're going to give it up, you would think. Their defense, which, in the past has been pretty solid, but not this year. 38 allowed to Arkansas, 44 to Houston, 58 to Texas, 34 to Texas Southern, 45 to UTSA, 30 to North Texas, which isn't even a great team, 31 to Charlotte. I mean, they are pretty much guaranteed, in my opinion, to give up 35, 38, 42 points. Rice's secondary, when you look at it, 243 passing yards allowed for the year. Their run defense has been a suspect as well, but especially against the pass, they've struggled, and that's bad news when you're taking on this number 1 ranked passing offense. They almost exclusively throw the football here, Western Kentucky. I think the game could go over the total if you can get something offensively out of Rice, and they have scored 24 points in 3 straight games, including 30 against a very good UAB defense, a few weeks ago. So we've at least seen some evidence of Rice's offense starting to put some points on the board and move the football. I lean to the big road favorite, Western Kentucky. I'm definitely not stepping in their way right now. And I would also go with over 61, 62 in this game. Connor, Western Kentucky, Rice.
Yeah, Western Kentucky wins this one. Man, I just don't want to lay these points with that kind of defense. I think the defense has played a little bit better as the year has gone on, but I can't lay that many points on the road. And Rice, this team, you tell me if you can figure out betting on them the last few years. I don't know who's showing up. They played better lately all of a sudden the last few games, but if you took them early on in the year, they're no good. So this game's just a pass for me.
Yeah, they've definitely had some better offense. Broussard's run the ball better. Jake Constantine's given them a little shot in the arm, at least, at the quarterback spot. 64% completion's pretty good. So this Rice offense has improved, and that makes me think the over can get there. Again, they put up 30 on a good UAB defense. That means they should be able to score a little bit here against the Hilltoppers. A big Ragoo.
Yeah, it's funny, Connor. Every time I hear Connor talk about Rice and Marshall, I got to laugh inside because he and I are on the same wavelength on both of those teams. But hey, this kind of sets up just like the Houston game does, with the big number to get to the total and a cover on the spot here. But I know Western Kentucky's scoring a little better than 35 points in this situation, and Rice is giving up about that many. So they just need one more score to get the team total over like 39.5, 40 points, and I think that's the way I'm going to lean here. The only thing is, they are one-dimensional, and Rice will give up the points either way. But if they decide to sprinkle in a little bit of run game, which I don't think why they would start doing that now, I don't think they're going to do it. But I think we see Western Kentucky get over the 40 points here. So that's the lean I have in this game. Is forget about the number. Take Western Kentucky to score the points.
All right, boss.
Yeah, I like narrowing it down to the team total right there, but it would be over or nothing on this. These two teams have a clear strategy of all offense, no defense. So I definitely go for the over. Both are 6-3 to the over. So no other way, over or pass.
All right, we have next up, it is Georgia. It's South Alabama, sorry. So South Alabama, App State. App State 22-point home favorites, 52 the total in this one. I would lean to the Jags here. That's a lot of points with App State. And App State's been really good at home. And I don't take anything away from the way they've played at home, 4-0 straight up, but only 2-2 against the spread. And the South Alabama Jaguars are playing for bowl eligibility today. Now, I know they're 0-4 ATS on the road, but how often have they been getting a number this size on the road. Not often. Their defense is still quite capable. Jake Bentley's a wild card. Some games he plays great, some games not so good, but he has played better lately. 24 points or more for South Alabama in 4 straight games. Just a lot of points here. I know App State's off a destruction against Arkansas State and ULM the last 2 weeks, but come on. South Alabama's a little bit better than Arkansas State and ULM. I think it's too many points. I like South Alabama here a little bit. Conor Mac?
Me too. That's my lean. I mean, South Alabama's been laying a lot of points in these games. Now they're catching 3 touchdowns. I think they can keep it within the number. You talked about App State's really good at home, but, man, that's a lot of points. I'd lean with the Jaguars as well.
Be careful, Star Child, saying, oh, they lost to Troy. They got to be garbage. They outgained Troy in that game by 17 yards. It was a back-and-forth game. They could have won that game just as easily. They lost. It was a coin flip type game. This is a totally different price range, though. We're talking about more than 3 touchdowns, capable enough defense. What do you think here, Big Ragoo?
I think there's going to be points both ways. App State at home with the score, and South Alabama's been traveling pretty good with putting points up. I would lean strongly towards the over in this spot.
All right, like an over, boss.
I'm right on that, taking South Alabama right here. South Alabama's having an impressive season. They've been doing it on the backs of their defense, and they're not afraid of this App State team. App State team, when the run's not working for them, sometimes they have a little difficult passing, but they do play some stout D. I give them the defense for App State, especially at home. But I'm willing to take those 24 today.
All right, yeah, it is a lot of points, no doubt. All right, Georgia Southern, Texas State. Next up, we've got Texas State 2-point home favorites in this game. I'm not for this game. I'm just I'm not going to belabor this game. I didn't even really look into it this week, to be honest. I knew I wasn't going to be interested in it. 2 teams are just too erratic for me. Pass for me. Conor Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I had nothing here really either. This was a pass as well for me.
Big Ragoo.
It was a pass.
Boss.
I took a look at it, but I couldn't come up with much under this one right here. I kind of like Texas State. They've been changing things around on defense, and Georgia State they got a lot of hope alive in this game too. So I don't know. It's a pass.
All right, Minnesota, Iowa, Big Ten. Iowa, 4-point home favorites, 37 the total. It's a very low total, and I still wouldn't bet it over right now with these 2 teams. I mean, it's 2 really good defenses. Now, Iowa, could they actually be better off with Alex Padilla at quarterback here today than Spencer Petras, who got injured last week and had been really scuffling just before he got injured? We'll see. But the money's come in on Minnesota. It's an Iowa team that's really, starting to struggle to cover numbers. 0-3 ATS their last 3 games. 2 of those as favorites, where they lost to Purdue, and they only beat Northwestern by 5 on the road as double-digit favorites last week. Minnesota coming off a rough showing against Illinois. And the one concern here for Minnesota is maybe finally all the injuries at running back have caught up to them. Maybe they've finally now they're down to their 4th-string running back, that they just don't have that same power in the ground game anymore with Kai Thomas and Marquise Irving, who are now the 2 running backs left standing on this team after the injuries to Ibrahim and Potts. And then the 3rd running back as well got hurt, Bryce Williams. So they're down to their 4th running back here, but still, I got to only look toward the Gophers taking the points here. I just Iowa, I don't know what to expect from Padilla. We only have that sample size of coming into the game last week against Northwestern. It's just an Iowa laying points right now, not something I'm looking to do. Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, me either. Both teams are dealing with injuries. This could be an ugly football game. Maybe kind of like the Iowa Northwestern game. We'll see. I take the points with Minnesota, and even at 37, I lean under.
I don't blame you, Big Ragoo.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I know Iowa doesn't score a lot of points. Maybe this change is going to help them a little bit, but both teams are run heavy, not very pass efficient. So it bodes to the under, but 37 is kind of low. It's a field goal type of game. I think the 5.5 or actually the 4.5 looks good here. Taking the points with Mini.
All right, like in Mini, boss.
This game right here is going to be one in the trenches right here, and this Minnesota front on defense is no joke. So I seen the Iowa kind of tiptoe through some games. I thought they were really tough at the beginning of the year, but I see they get a little soft from time to time. So they give them a little leeway being the favorite here at home. But I think Minnesota can come in there and get the job done, man. So I think I take Minnesota plus the points. I would lean with that under, but 37. Oh, you're killing me, Larry.
Thank you for the kind words, Elliot, about the hair. We try to do the best we can with it. 328 live viewers. Hit the like button. Make sure you do that on the way out if you haven't already. Duke, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, 11-point home favorites, 51 the total in this game. Now, Virginia Tech, we don't necessarily think of them as an over team, and why would you? They've gone under in 3 of the last 4, and they've been a heavy under team all year this year, 7-2 to the under. But Duke's defense is horrendous, all right? 31, 38, 48, 45, 54 allowed in their last few games. They're basically allowing the last 3 games 45 or more. So I think this is a game for Virginia Tech offensively to get going. Duke is allowing, in the last 3 games, 217 rushing yards, 5.6 yards per carry. And when Virginia Tech can run the football, because they run the football a whole lot more than they throw it, they are effective. They should be able to do that here. Question is, Duke offensively, what will you get from them? They put up 29 against Pitt last week. It was a better defensive or offensive performance from Holmberg, the quarterback, and that offense. So maybe they can contribute. I get why the total's gone up. It opened 48. It's a 51 now. I agree. Just too low for a Duke game. I like the over here. Conor Mac?
I like nothing here. There's no way I want to lay 11 with Virginia Tech. They're the better team. Maybe they can get – this is a get right for their offense because Duke's so bad defensively. I lean them a little bit, but this is a dead pass for me.
Big Ragoo.
Yeah, I think Duke's scoring like 10 points on the road, average like three and a half in the first half. So maybe that helps somebody figure something out there. But I'm with Conor. I don't want to lay the 11.5 with Virginia Tech. There's too many points, I think, for them. But they should win going away, but I don't trust them. That's my point. I've watched too many Virginia Tech games this year and been involved in too many of them. So I'm off the game, but I would lean maybe a team total under Duke.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to, I'd take Duke, but I just don't trust them on the road enough to do it. Boss?
No.
It's a pass for me. Me and Duke, we ain't been getting along. That's a sporadic team. You don't know who's going to show up. I'm off.
All right, we stay in the ACC for this next game. Boston College, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, pick 'em. 54.5 the total. Give me BC here. It's one of my actually stronger sides of the day. I mean, I think Boston College is just flat out better football team. And now that they've got Phil Jurkovec back, and yeah, it was a rusty, not very sharp Phil Jurkovec last week against Virginia Tech, but, you know, he's got a game under his belt now. Shake all that, you know, the cobwebs out of your head, if you will. Coming back for the first time from that injury. I think he'll be a lot better here against the Georgia Tech defense that's not exactly, you know, scaring anybody these days. I think Boston College is a better team. I think they're better coached too. I mean, I've been disappointed with what I've seen out of Jeff Collins. They're 0-3 straight up in their last 3 games, losing to Miami by 3, losing to Virginia Tech, losing to Virginia. Their defense has struggled. Boston College is the much better of these 2 teams defensively. In my mind, and the stats and the numbers bear that out. And I think they're better at quarterback now with Phil Jurkovec back, and I think he'll be better now that he's got a game under his belt. Wrong team favored here to me. I like BC. Conor Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, Jurkovic's back. I lean Boston College. I'm going to stay off this game. Georgia Tech finally covered for me with Miami, but they're a team I haven't liked all year, and they're laying a point no way. So if I had a free play, it'd be Boston College here, but I'm passing.
Big Ragoo.
Yeah, I'm off this game totally also, but I would definitely lean Boston College. I was on Georgia Tech a couple times, disappointed. 1-3 in this spot at home. ATS, Boston College a little bit better, 2-3, but I lean Boston College. Better athletes, I think.
Boss.
Yeah, it's clear that Boston College is the more dominant team, but the line doesn't reflect that at all. But the thing that I see about Boston College is, and it may be, you know, especially because they're on the road, is they try to get people to play their game. So if they can, when usually at home, they're able to make other teams play their game, you know, a slow, strong, honest football game. But going over there to Georgia Tech, ain't no telling what kind of looks they try to play out there. So if they can talk BC off of their game, then BC can have problems. So it's a stay off for me. But I totally agree that Boston College is the better team. But I just can't find no justification for the line.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see where this came out. Charlotte, Louisiana Tech, 7-point home favorites, 58 the total in this game. I got to say, I've been disappointed with Louisiana Tech this year. It's just been a disappointment considering they started the season, almost beating Mississippi State. They should have beat SMU. They were gave NC State a tough game. And the wheels have come off since then. 0-4 straight up, 0-4 against the spread. UTEP, UTSA, Old Dominion, UAB, 4 straight losses for this team. And now they're laying 7 here against Charlotte. Just seems like that's asking a lot. Now, Charlotte's had some really good games, and they've had some really tough games. So there's been a lot of variance with their performances. But they are feeling good after an overtime win at home against Rice last week, 31-24. Louisiana Tech defense, 2 of the last 3 games, they've really struggled and given up big points. You got to believe Chris Reynolds and the offense can maybe move the ball enough here to be able to maybe hang around in this game. And you look at the Louisiana Tech pass defense, giving up 267 passing yards per game this year, and against a team that's pretty solid rolling the football here for Charlotte with Reynolds at quarterback. So I'm leaning to the points here, Charlotte +7. And I like the over as well. I think we'll get some points. And I do think Louisiana Tech, Charlotte's defense is still leaky. So I think Kendall and that offense can move the football here as well for La Tech in this game. So I like the dog, and I also like this game to go over 58 as well. All right, what do you think here, Conor Mac? Charlotte, Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, I think this game could get over as well. La Tech laying a touchdown, can't do it. There's just no way, not right now. I mean, even as bad as Charlotte. This is a team I only bet catching points, and they haven't even been good lately doing that. So this was a pass.
All right. I thought maybe they'd go back to Kendall. My bad, because I know they benched him last week, and I heard that they were going to go back to Kendall this week, but maybe they're not. I'm seeing J.D. Head, who started last week against UAB, is number 1 on the depth chart for Louisiana Tech. So it could be him once again. He played well. I mean, he put up points against UAB last week for that Louisiana Tech team. So maybe has earned another start here for them, and it looks like it will be J.D. Head again at quarterback today. Big Ragoo.
Yeah, I think La Tech right now, they're limping around a little bit. Charlotte, a little quality. I mean, Rice, no big deal there, but still, and this is a bowl eligibility game for them also. I mean, they'll probably get 1 win out of the next 3 to get in the bowl game, but La Tech, not so much. I think 2 leaky defenses, the points, I would take the points to pass.
Boss.
Mute. Yeah, this is a sticky one right here. I mean, this is a 2-7 team versus a 5-4 team, and the 2-7 team is favored by almost a touchdown. I don't understand that, man. That's a pass, 2 traps. That's too trappy for me. I like Charlotte. Charlotte's a really good team. They play really good defense. It should be no reason that Charlotte shouldn't cover that.
Definitely. I think Charlotte is the side. And like I say, I like that game over the total as well. Iowa State taking on Texas Tech. Iowa State 10.5-point road favorites, 56.5 being the total in this game. Of course, Texas Tech made the coaching change a couple weeks ago. Matt Wells out of there now as the head coach. And look, Texas Tech, you see what they're able to do here because they're off a bye week. Maybe it's a chance for them to recharge the batteries. We'll see. Iowa State, very impressive last week, 30-7, but that game changed completely when Bijan Robinson got injured. Just wasn't the same after that, and that's when the game really got away from Texas. And you see, and by the way, we'll get to Texas. He's questionable, and we know how big he is to that offense for the Longhorns. So keep an eye on that. Iowa State was able to take advantage. Wasn't the same Texas offense without him on the field. They win 30-7. It's just, it does feel like if Texas Tech's going to give you some kind of strong effort, it's here off a bye with the new coach, but don't know if it's enough that I'm willing to take them. So I'm going to stay off this game, just to lean to the Texas Tech side because they're getting double digits as home dogs. And Iowa State hasn't always been someone you can trust, covering these numbers this year in this type of favorite range. What do you think, C-Mac?
Yeah, this one's tough. I want to take Texas Tech here. I'm pretty close to it. I just don't know what I'm going to get. They came out against Kansas State well. They lose by 1. They've been blown out by Oklahoma and Texas. They played well against West Virginia. So you're hoping that defense can play well coming off this bye, with the new coach. That's all I can kind of go off of here. And I think Shuck will be back at quarterback, I think, right? That's what I was seeing
It's
earlier this
looking
week.
like it. Let me just
Yeah.
double check. It might be him. Let me just double check that right now because I was hearing the same things. I just want
Were
to
you hearing it
confirm
too?
that he's questionable.
Okay.
It could be Columby again. We'll see. Could start. Yeah, practicing. He's an option to start. We'll see.
Okay.
Hasn't been confirmed.
We'll see. I mean, yeah, to me, I think you take the points or pass here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance you could see one of three quarterbacks. Donovan Smith is in the running. You could see Columby again. Shuck could return. So Sonny Cumbie's the interim coach right now. He's got a lot of different options here, and he hasn't made up his mind yet who that will be. Big Ragoo.
I'm hearing Smith too. So, yeah, the quarterback carousel is going to continue there for Texas Tech. And Iowa State, they're still in the mix for the Big 12 championship. So, don't think they don't want to go out and win this game in an impressive way. I haven't had good luck with the Red Raiders this season at all in spots. I've been playing them. But I'm not rushing to the window to lay doubles with Iowa State. But this could be one of those type games where the defense kind of steps up with some quarterback controversy on the other side and pulls away for a quality win. So I would lean Iowa State, even though I'm not big on doubles with them, because they play a lot of close games. I would lean Iowa State just because of Texas Tech's uncertainties.
Exactly, and I'll say this about Iowa State. They've actually got their offense going the last couple of weeks, and that is going to give them a lot better chance to cover a number like this because earlier in the season, Purdy and the run game with Breece Hall wasn't clicking. It is now the last couple of weeks, so we'll see if they keep it going here. Boss.
Hey, with all that drama going on over there at Texas Tech, give me Iowa State. They coming in with the killer defense. Texas Tech, without all the drama, they like to pass, and Iowa State has one of the best passing defenses in the game right now. So they're going to be bringing, I don't care what quarterback, whatever you throw in front of them, whatever. It's probably going to be a low-scoring game, so I lean under, but I take Iowa State minus the points.
All right, good stuff. We thank you, T. Love the channel. We thank you. We love doing these shows, and I hope you keep tuning in here on Pub Sports Radio. All right, we got Louisiana Raging Cajuns, Troy Trojans. Louisiana 6.5-point road favorites, 48 the total. I'm totally off this game because I don't want to lay 6.5 with the Cajuns on the road here, but I don't trust Troy enough. I really don't. I want more points with Troy. Gunnar Watson, I thought would improve the offense. It hasn't happened. Their offense has still struggled quite a bit lately, and the defense has definitely been solid, but Cajuns do have a very good defense. Feels like it could be a lower scoring game. I just don't have a strong take on the side. I kind of don't like laying points on the road with the Cajuns, but Troy is not the team I trust here. So I'm off the game entirely. What do you think, C-Mac?
Yeah, me too. I don't like doing it here at Lafayette on the road. I wish I was catching more than a touchdown here, to that 7-10. I'm with you. I still lean Troy here at home. I think this one could be close.
And 0-4 ATS on the road for the Cajuns this year, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It's just that when you look at the difference in the point spread here, all of a sudden now a single digit, like Cajuns win by touchdown, they cover. So I just wanted more than a touchdown, and I'm with you though. I'd probably prefer Troy if I had to, but I'm going to stay off. Big Ragoo.
It's a tricky spot for both squads with the number here. I mean, none of them are really 0-4, like you said. ATS 3-1 straight up, and 8-1 for the season. Troy 2-2 at home. ATS 3-1 straight up. So either way, I think Louisiana defense is going to be up to slowing Troy down a bit. But at the same time, I'm not rushing to the window to lay the touchdown with them in this spot. So it's a dead pass because both teams, ATS-wise, are not the teams I want to get involved with in these spots.
Yep, boss.
I lean over on this one just on a historical basis that these games have got way over that number before. What says right here, 2019, it was 53-3. Which that was a really good team that the Cajuns had in 19. I don't think they have that same team this time, but I figure Troy could probably put some points on the board, and this thing goes over that 48.
All right, next up, we continue along Florida Atlantic, Old Dominion, FAU 7-point road favorites, 48 the total in this one. Give me Old Dominion again. I mean, I never thought I'd be saying I'd be betting on Old Dominion more than once this year before the season started, but sometimes you've got to make way for teams that play better than anybody thought, and Old Dominion is starting to do that, 3-6. Now, they're still not likely going to get a bowl game. I mean, they got to win out, and it's probably not happening, but people thought this team would barely win 2 games. And here they are. They've won 3 already, including 2 straight against Louisiana Tech and FIU. the last couple weeks. I like the quarterback move to Hayden Wolf. He's been good at the quarterback spot for this Old Dominion team. They've been able to run the football with Blake Watson lately. He's done a great job. Good balance in the offense. Defense is still a little bit leaky, but it's good enough, and the offense has done the rest. Florida Atlantic off a 28-13 loss to Marshall in their last game. They're laying points here on the road, which they were able to cover as road favorites last time against Charlotte. But I like the way this Old Dominion team has gone. They've covered 3 of the last 4 games. The betting markets are kind of asleep with what they're doing, and I'll take the touchdown with them here, +7 in this one. What do you think here, Big Ragoo?
The touchdown looks pretty solid because I think both teams are kind of leaky on the defense, and the way Atlantic is playing Jekyll and Hyde, this is a Jekyll spot for them. They're going to score points too, and I think the 48 looks awful cheap on the number for the total, so I'm flying over the total in this game.
That makes some sense too. I mean, you look at ODU, still a little shaky on defense. The run defense is good, though, which is good because Florida Atlantic runs the ball a lot more than throws it, and Old Dominion's better against the run. That's why I think it's good for ODU from a side perspective, because I think their run defense has been good lately, and Florida Atlantic prefers to run the football, which I don't blame them because N'Kosi Perry is a ham and egger quarterback. Simple as that. He's okay. He's nothing special.
Right.
What do you think here, boss? You know that all too well down in Miami there. And Florida, they're Big Ragoo. Boss, what do you think?
Hey, you got it. The hammer on the nail. That's Florida business over there. I'm off this game. I'll do whatever that guy over there says to do. I'll do that.
Yeah, thank you, Nuke Worker, one of our good viewers and
go get him, boss,
here on the channel. We appreciate you tuning in. Thank you very much. All right, Southern Miss UTSA Roadrunners meet 32.5 point home favorites, 54 the total in this game. I mean, you want to stand in front of this juggernaut right now, and juggernaut by CUSA standards. I mean, obviously, if they play Alabama, they're in trouble, or Georgia. But I mean, UTSA is having a great year, still undefeated, 9-0. And what's amazing is everybody knows they're good, and they're getting priced like it, and they're still covering. I mean, four in a row they've covered. They've destroyed and demolished teams. Rice, Louisiana Tech, UTEP. I'm not stepping in front of this freight train here, and Southern Miss is the polar opposite. 0-7 straight up, 0-7 against the spread in their last 7 games, down to their third quarterback. Jake Lang has had to play for several weeks at the quarterback spot because of multiple injuries to the top 2 quarterbacks on this Southern Miss team. Tough first season here for Will Hall, the head coach. It's just had nothing go right. Quarterbacks injured, Trey Lowe, Ty Keys. So it's Jake Lang once again, and he's mediocre at best. And it's hard to envision Southern Miss keeping up with UTSA. It is a lot of points. This could be even more of a tax now on the Roadrunners, but they've been able to eclipse every number that's been put against them this year. It would be still favored or pass. I'm going to stay off, though. Big Ragoo.
Yeah, it has to be one-way action for sure, all the way across the board. With UTSA, because Southern Miss, they have absolutely nothing going down there. So I mean, you have to look towards UTSA in this spot at all. There's no way you can back the other side, but it's a lot of points. So maybe look first half of UTSA -20 if you're interested. Maybe they get a track meet going and they cover full game, 33.5, 33, whatever that is. But I don't want to get in front of them, and I don't want to get on the other side either. So that's a pass for me.
Boss.
Yeah, this is a UTSA or pass, but looking forward on this UTSA team, I am trying to look for the team that's going to spot up and maybe upset them, just because that's the way the cookie crumbles. But this Southern Miss team is not the team for that. Like, they're a fade team, so it's either UTSA or pass.
All right, great. Interesting SEC battle here. Georgia, Tennessee. Georgia, 19.5, 20-point road favorites, 55.5 the total at Rocky Top in this one. I could only back Georgia here because I don't know if Tennessee's going to stop them. Their defense has been rough, and we don't give Georgia's offense credit. We know their defense is just incredible. It's an elite, but Stetson Bennett and that offense has been good. They've been able to run the football with Zamir Smith on the ground. I mean, obviously, they're a balanced offense. They've been capable of putting up big points. And here's going to be the issue with Tennessee. Josh Heupel has said, we play fast all the time on offense, and they do, extreme tempo. He says they want to play even faster today. They want to tire out Georgia's defense, see if they can get them winded a little bit, get them on their heels a little bit. I just worry that, they go, even if they go fast and they go a lot of 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out punt, it's going to give Georgia more opportunities to score as well. And like I say, Georgia, we don't think of them as an offensive team, but 30-plus points in 4 straight games, they have been able to score points, and Tennessee's defense really hasn't stopped anybody as of late. So I think Georgia could still cover this number. I've got a small bet on the Bulldogs here, and I've got a contrarian over here. We think Georgia's always this under team. But I think Tennessee is the best offense they've faced with Hendon Hooker, who's done a great job. And look, they gave up a touchdown offensively to Auburn. They gave up 2 to Kentucky. I think Tennessee can find the end zone once, if not twice, believe it or not, in this game. And I respect the hell out of Georgia's defense. But this is by far the most explosive, dynamic, fastest-paced offense with a mobile quarterback that maybe Georgia's seen all year. So I think Tennessee can find the end zone. And if they find the end zone once, certainly if they find it twice, the game's going over the total, in my opinion. So I like Georgia. I like over 55.5 here as well. We'll let Connor get back settled in after the internet gods were against him for the last few minutes. Big Ragoo, what do you like here? Georgia, Tennessee.
Yeah, this is probably the highest team total that Georgia is going to face on the opposition side. 17.5 is what the book is hanging here. And I was looking at that pretty hard. I've looked at to go against Georgia for a team total all season long. Like I said, I caught one spot all year, and I'm not going to go against them here. Guess what I'm doing? I'm taking Tennessee under 17.5 points. I like that number. Under 17.5 points, minus 110. I think that's a solid play. Now, Tennessee has to be careful what they wish for here. If they want to go fast, it can cost them dearly, and that bodes well towards your team total or your full game over because Georgia can put their foot on the gas and just wear them and blow them off the field here. But I think Tennessee will get points, but I don't think they get more than 17.5.
They'd better at least move the chains, get some first downs, if not put up points, because if they're going that fast and 3-and-out punt all day, that defense against that offensive line run game and what Bennett can do throwing it, they're just going to have nothing in the tank come second half, especially fourth quarter.
Get ugly real quick.
Really get away from them. Yep. Boss, what do you think?
Hey, that big defensive line over there, Georgia, is going to wear their ass out. They better go hide the quarterback or something because if that big defensive tackle gets a hold of that quarterback, you're going to have to call in the backups because it ain't going to be nothing nice, man. So this Georgia team, they're up there this year, for real, for real. I'll take Georgia first half.
Conor Mac.
Georgia, consensus. I think the under, too. I don't even know Tennessee, like Ragoo was saying, that team total might be good. I don't know if they can get over 17, so I like the under there, team total under. Georgia.
Yeah, the O-line has had some issues for Tennessee, so that's the one thing that's I think they can find the end zone once, if not twice, but that O-line is going to have to hold up. We'll see if it can do that. Purdue, Ohio State. Ohio State 20.5-point home favorites, 65 the total in this game. This is not a spot I'm looking to lay points with Ohio State, and we need to talk about the last 2 weeks here. That red zone efficiency has been a problem for this Ohio State team the last couple games. Penn State, they settled for field goals. Nebraska, they settled for field goals. That's why they only won that game by 9 points. If they do that again here, they're probably not covering, as almost 3 touchdown favorites. And Purdue is just that team that hangs in games. Aiden O'Connell's playing better. And Ohio State's got Michigan State and Michigan on their schedule after this game. You got to believe this could be just a little bit, let's get out of town, get the win, just move on. Don't need any style points. Let's just get out of here and get the victory here. I would only look Purdue. In fact, I am on Purdue here at almost 3 touchdowns in this one. Lean over as well. Conor Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on Purdue. I took it already earlier this week. Ohio State, their offense was humming, playing real well, blowing out Rutgers, Maryland, Indiana. But, last few weeks, a little bit better teams, Penn State, Nebraska. And you talked about the red zone. They're having a tough time down there. Purdue's got a pretty good defense, and they've been feeling a little bit better. They've been able to score, which was their problem. And I think they'll be able to put up some points against Ohio State. So too many with 3 touchdowns. Give me Purdue.
Big Ragoo.
Let's keep it rolling, guys. Too many points, definitely. Maybe 2 scores better. And maybe if you're going to back Purdue, get a little brazen, have some balls, put them on a table, take a little sprinkle on the money line.
Yeah, I think Purdue can hang in this game. And their defense is better than people think, Purdue. And look, C.J. Stroud and that offense is electric, but they had no Wilson. He may not be back today. And again, they're moving the ball, but they are stalling in opposition territory. 2 weeks in a row, they were having trouble punching it in. And when you're laying points in this range, you got to be able to execute in the red zone. They haven't done it great the last 2 weeks. Boss, what do you think?
I take Purdue for sure. I'm gonna put the whole Big Ten on upset alert because that's what they do. They knock each other off the saddle. Rutgers, Indiana. Rutgers could upset them. Michigan, Penn State. Penn State can upset them. Northwestern, Wisconsin. Northwestern could upset them. Iowa, Minnesota. Minnesota could. You keep going down the line, and there's a possible upset all the way down to Maryland and Michigan State might be the only one you can get away with safely.
This to me looks like one of those games where fourth quarter, it's something like, I don't know, 24 to like 13 or something for Ohio State, and Purdue's punching it in or threatening, and maybe they turn it over in the red zone and a late fourth quarter. But I think Ohio State just in that 14-point margin if they get it. I don't think they're going to get to 3 touchdown margin here in this game. Miami, Florida State. Miami 2.5-point road favorite, 61 the total in this game. I like Miami, and I like the over here in this one. Look, Miami's playing good football. We got to give them credit. They've turned it around. Tyler Van Dyke has shown me a lot, on offense for this team, taking over for the injured De'Aaron King, who's out for the year. And they've won 3 in a row against Georgia Tech, Pitt, and NC State. I mean, especially those first two, NC State and Pitt, those are wins against good football teams. Florida State, I was worried they'd fall flat after the very tough loss to Clemson. They did. They lost by 2 touchdowns to NC State, struggled in that game. But this is a game I think they can get up for. And that's why I think their offense will show you something here in this game today. They've gone back and forth all year. Mackenzie Milton with Jordan Travis at quarterback. But it looks like Jordan Travis, I believe, is going to be the starter today. He was banged up a little bit last week. They say returned to practice, so good chance he's going to probably be the starter here for Miami or for Florida State today. I lean over, but I think Miami, less than a field goal, can get the win here, and they've done well head-to-head against FSU the last few years. Conor Mac?
Yeah, this was I didn't love a ton of overs today, but this was the over that I did like, and I'm on the other side. Give me Florida State. Just take a money line. I think they win today.
Big Ragoo.
It's a big recruit game. I got some inside information, whatever that means. But I know a lot of 5-star recruits are going to be at this game, chomping at the bit. And this is a game notoriously that's had a lot of luster to it, but it's kind of lost it a little bit. But I think FSU, they've been kind of Jekyll Hyde. Miami's, it's only third road game for them. They split on the road. It's a tough ass to go to Doak Campbell and win. Throw all the records out the window. This is a game that FSU is going to show up to play for. Give me the Noles money line.
Noles money line showing up today. You're right. I think this is not a game where you're flat like last week against NC State. I think they pick themselves up off the mat when you play a rival. The question is, will they be good enough to win? Boss, what do you think?
All right, man. I've been a Miami advocate for these past few games. A lot of people in the chat didn't believe me. They told me I was talking about the old Miami, not the new Miami. And guess what? Counter to y'all popular belief on this show, I say Miami covers the day. Like Ragoo said, recruiting's up the line. There's a lot risking on this game. They got to go up there and handle business. They've been handling business thus far, and I say they continue it right here against Florida State.
They wouldn't mind denying Miami bowl eligibility either, because Miami would get that with a win today. We'll see how it goes. UAB Marshall 4.5 point home favorites, 55 the total in this one. Revenge game for Marshall. Lost to the UAB Blazers in the Conference USA Championship game last year, and looking to avenge. Certainly Grant Wells is looking to avenge that, because from an offensive perspective, that was hideous in that game against UAB last year. And Marshall's, 4 straight wins for them. I understand why they're favored. And, UAB's been hit or miss. They lost to Liberty. They lost to Rice inexplicably. They won against Louisiana Tech but didn't cover. And their defense has some injuries on it. And it's showing. They've given up 30 and 38 the last 2 weeks. But their offense with Dylan Hopkins at quarterback has been good. But this is actually a team that, has declined a little bit the last couple weeks on the defensive side of the football. I'm not involved in the side, but a sneaky over for me at 55. Take advantage of a UAB defense that it's just not quite the same here these last couple weeks. And we know Marshall plays fast, so I think 55 we can get over that number. Connor, what do you think here?
I don't want anything to do with this one, really, because as soon as Marshall's ripped off 4 straight wins, they're going to shit the bed here, I have a feeling. I don't know. Yeah, I take UAB in the 5 points and run.
Big Ragoo.
Yeah, my first thought was under, also not over, under, Ian. But like you have said, the past couple of games, with the injuries have kind of hurt them, on the defensive side. But like Connor says, Marshall's one of them teams that shits all over me every week. So give me UAB plus you. Fuck you, Marshall.
Nah,
Here's the
UAB
curse
is
word.
A dog.
Sorry about the curse.
That's all right. Nothing wrong. We do. That's what we do here. Boss, what do you think?
Hey, hold them curse words. Hold them curse words. Marshall coming in again. This is the 50th. This is the 50th anniversary of the people that died on the plane over there.
They had to say that.
They come in with that whole thing again. They got uniforms. They got the numbers in the thing, and it's Veterans Week. Too much propaganda going on against Marshall. Not to take Marshall today. Take Marshall at home.
There you go. Ride the emotional wave. We'll see if they can do that today against UAB.
Way to make me feel bad, DJ.
Yeah. All right, Florida.
You shouldn't have been playing the game in the first place. You're being cute right now, Ragoo.
I know you're right. I apologize.
Florida International, Middle Tennessee State. We got MTSU 10.5-point home favorites, 55 the total. I'm on MTSU here, laying the doubles. I mean, it's just fade city for me with FIU. This team's hopeless. Butch Davis is out the door. Forget about it. He ain't coming back. It's done for him there. This program is miserable. 1-8 straight up this year. 1-8 against the spread as well. Just dreadful. Cashed with Old Dominion last week against them. They've lost all of their games by each of their last 5 games by double-digit margins here in Conference USA play. Middle Tennessee State's not a great team, but they drilled UConn. They drilled Southern Miss. They did lose big to Western Kentucky, but a lot of teams are doing that to that great Western Kentucky passing game and offense. I think it's a bounce-back game against a team that's lifeless, absolutely lifeless right now, FIU, and I think you're going to see a big game. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. If it's Vadiato, who took over last week, with Cunningham injured, he played well. He had some interceptions, but I think he'll clean those up against a miserable defense. For me, it's the Blue Raiders, -10. Conor Mac?
I know. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd lay the 10 points with Middle Tennessee. It's I never thought I'd say that, but yeah, FIU is just horrible, horrible, horrible. I'm there. I haven't bet this one, but I think I might here. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, just fade a team that's lifeless. Like, it's a double-digit loss, 5 straight games in CUSA play for this team. What do you think here, Big Ragoo?
I'm not saying they're handing you free money because it almost feels that way, but doubles with MTSU. It's not a place I like to go, but FIU they are lifeless, and that's the first thing I seen that kind of jumped off the page. That says 10 points. You know what? I'm friggin' laying it. Give me MTSU minus the doubles.
All right, boss.
Is it safe to call this one a bum fight?
Yeah, so, if you're looking at one-way bum,
definitely.
You know the rules in a bum fight. You got to take the home team. So I'll take it over there minus the points.
Well, they can still get bowl eligibility to MTSU. They're 2 wins away, and they've got 3 games to get it. And if they win this, all of a sudden they're 1 game away. So I expect purpose here for Middle Tennessee State. There's no purpose, none, 0 for FIU. They're just playing out the string of a miserable season and waiting for their coach to get axed. That's about it. Next up, we've got Maryland, Michigan State. Big Ten action, 11.5-point home favorites. Michigan State, 61.5 the total in this one. Of course, you worry about the bubble burst theory. I don't like backing teams. I especially don't like backing teams laying double digits after their first loss of the season. And I'm not going to do that here with Michigan State. But is Maryland a team that's capable? Against Iowa, blown out. Ohio State, blown out. Minnesota, blown out. Penn State, blown out. Every good team they've played in the Big Ten, they have not stepped up. They have not been competitive. So it's a clear stay-off game for me completely in this one. Could I lean over, but that's about it. But I just don't trust either team in this spot at this number. Conor Mac, Maryland, Michigan State.
Yeah, I didn't bet this one either, but if I had to, I'd lay it with Michigan State. I mean, I know that was last week. They got the loss, but if there's a team to bounce back at home, it's here against this bad Maryland team.
Big Ragoo.
Yeah, the only thing that concerns me about Michigan State is their pass defense, and I know Maryland to beat them, they're going to have to air it out, which they will try to do. So whether they're up to the task of actually slowing Maryland down a bit, I mean, they can win by 20 or they can win by 3. So this is one of them games I'm not too keen on getting involved with, but I would lean towards the home team on maybe a better effort coming off of the bounce back spot.
Yeah,
but I'm not big on bounce back either. So I'm off.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do that after the loss to Purdue last week. Boss.
I'm leaning over in this one. We know Michigan State is not the under team that we used to, and Maryland with Talavailoa back there, he's able to get loose on his feet and get game first downs, all that good stuff. So I think we might be looking at an over game right here.
All right, Hawaii UNLV. Hawaii 3.5 point road favorites, 55.5 the total. It's gone up a little. I laid 3 with Hawaii in this game. I actually like them to get the job done here. 4-6. They're talking the talk. Todd Graham and their team. We want to finish strong, get bowl eligible. It's been a kind of an up and down, rocky season for Hawaii. But we're now putting UNLV in a price range. I know they beat New Mexico last week, 31-17, but New Mexico might be the one team in the Mountain West that is worse than UNLV right now. We're putting UNLV in a price range here where they got to win the game or come close. I think Hawaii is still a better team. Their defense has actually been, solid. At times they've struggled. The Utah State game, they struggled, but against a UNLV offense, it's pretty one-dimensional. I think they'll play better here. I think there's a reason the money's come in here on Hawaii. The totals dropped because of UNLV. I think they're a team that offensively we don't trust. Defensively, at times they've done okay, but it's more that the offense, we really don't trust UNLV's offense. They've gone over the total in 3 straight, but in this one, total down from 57 to 55.5. And UNLV, by the way, has had quarterback issues all season long. They just haven't had good play from that position. Friel's not been great. Brumfeld's been banged up as well. And it looks like Friel's going to get potentially the start here. They've got him listed number 1 on the depth chart. So that tells me Friel is likely back in for UNLV. So I don't have a strong take, Star Child, on the total. I don't. I'm just on Hawaii here. Conor Mac, what do you think?
This is a pass for me. I hope UNLV can get the win for DJ's over 1.5 wins. And this is it here. I think they lose their last 2. Hawaii, don't bet them on the mainland, but this is their second home. There's so many Hawaiians here that go to this game here. It'll be tough. I'm off the game. So I'd like for UNLV the points, but I ain't betting it. No way.
All right, Hawaii UNLV, Big Ragoo.
It's not going to be no spam and eggs or pineapples for me in this spot here. I'll tell you that, especially in Vegas, right, DJ? But anyways, I'm going to be cheering DJ on for his 1.5 wins. I think maybe we might crack an over possibly, but it's a little early start for Hawaii, like with the travel again. Here we go again with the Hawaii with the 1 o'clock start Vegas time. So we'll see what happens. I hope DJ catches that UNLV over 1.5.
All right, boss.
Hey, Connor, you know the rules. Not supposed to take Hawaii on the mainland. And this UNLV team, I hope they come out in some spectacular uniform because that's what the whole little Allegiant Stadium multi-uniform, maybe that'll put some fire to their ass today. I think technically on the field, minus coaching, they probably like evenly talented because I've seen them both suck the same. Like I've seen the offense suck and I've seen them both suck the same. So it's kind of an even matchup. I understand the total. Give me the home team in this one. UNLV, put them on the money line. Make something out of it. But yeah, I like it right here, man. Hopefully Hawaii's offense doesn't click in because sometimes they're on, sometimes they're off. But one thing we know for sure is both of them defense is kind of shitty.
Yes, we'll see if who ends up getting the better of the other in this one. All right, South Carolina, Missouri. South Carolina 1.5 point road favorites, 55 the total. It's not a strong play, but I had to take something on South Carolina just because there's such a difference in defensive aptitude on both of these sides. I mean, you look at South Carolina giving up 5.4 yards per play. Missouri's given up 6.8 yards per play. I mean, that's a plus 1.4 yard per play differential on defense in favor of South Carolina. And Connor Bazelak may not play. It's either going to be Tyler Macon or Brady Cook at quarterback here for Missouri. They're going to see how Bazelak feels before the game, but we saw Missouri get blasted, drilled by Georgia last week. They did cover, though. It was their first point spread cover in forever, and they got 40.5 points, and they lost by 37. That's why they covered in that game.
Yeah.
On the flip side, South Carolina, impressive against Florida. You worry about a
Yeah.
little letdown, but 40-7, it was an impressive game from them. They ran the football down Florida's throat with Kevin Harris, with Zaquandre White and company, Marshawn Lloyd. The quarterback last week, Jason Brown, was serviceable. He was decent. And Missouri against the run, how about 270 rushing yards per game, 6.2 yards per carry allowed? That is awful. South Carolina should run the football successfully, and if they do, that's what's the key to their offense. Give me South Kakalaki in this one at a pick'em. Conor Mac, what do you think?
Yep. I'd only bet South Carolina, especially if they could keep running it like that. I was shocked. Put 40 on Florida. Where's that offense been all year? The question marks with Missouri, and that defense is just horrible. So, yeah, I lean with South Carolina as well.
Yeah, and if Missouri can give you anything offense, it may go over the total, but I don't know if I'll touch that. Big Ragoo, what do you think?
Yeah, we're seeing South Carolina in some unfamiliar territory being a favorite. What did you say? Was pick them now? I've seen like -1.5, +1.5, now -1.5, -1 pick, whatever. Either way,
yeah, it's 1.5 now.
Yeah, 1.5, right? So either way, but I'm comfortable with South Carolina's game attack if they stick to it. Whether they don't ram the ball down Missouri's throat like they did against the Gators. That's the recipe for them. They have talent in the backfield. We know their defense is going to show up. How leaky is Missouri going to be? Are they going to allow South Carolina to do what they need to do? So it's either South Carolina or pass.
Boss.
I'm going with the defensive team, which is South Carolina in this one. And Mizzou showed up a bunch of times on some bad stats when I was going through some stats at the end of the week. So I had to go South Carolina or pass too.
All right, Tulsa, Tulane. We've got Tulsa 3-point road favorites in this one, 55.5 the total. I'm going to give Tulane credit. It's been a tough season for Willie Fritz's team. Could have folded the tent, could have thrown in the towel, but a solid effort last week against UCF for a one-win football team. To battle UCF like they did, I was impressed, but they fell short. Another tough loss, another loss on the ledger. Can they bounce back here at home against Tulsa? I'm not sure. Am I excited about laying a field goal on the road with a 3-6 Tulsa team? No, it's a clear pass for me in this one. Conor Mac, what do you think?
Tulane's defense has played a little bit better. Tulsa's an over team. I wish I had over 56 or so because I lean under in this game. I think this game could stay under here.
Don't look now. Money is coming in on New Mexico State. 51 is down to 50.5. There you go.
I'm glad I got my bet on early.
Big Ragoo wave there. Yeah.
Moving them lines, baby. Moving them lines.
DJ called it. Hey, but anyways, let's look here at something. I mean, Tulsa's a team that I like to get involved with when they play up in class a little bit because they seem like they're better in the dog roll. Tulane, they've had their struggles. 1-8, 1-3 overall in this spot. 2-2 ATS, but it's a game I really didn't want to get involved in, so I just looked the other way and I flipped the page.
Boss.
I think I could finally call this one the official bum fight, but I'm totally off of this one though.
All right, next up, we continue along here. We've got UTEP, North Texas. Pretty much a pick 'em here. UTEP -1 on the road, 55 the total. You look at North Texas and you think, wow, everything's great for them and the way they've played. There is a big difference in terms of statistical profiles here. UTEP's been the better statistical team of late or all season long. And you look at North Texas, they beat up a bad Southern Miss team playing on their third quarterback. Rice in overtime, 30-24. They won that game, and they gave Liberty a good battle, and they've covered 3 straight. But I think UTEP is going to find a way to get the win here. UTEP, again, no shame in their last 2 games. They lost to Florida Atlantic by 3. They actually didn't do that terribly against an excellent UTSA team. To actually only lose by 21 to the Roadrunners is actually not bad. And Dana Dimel's done a great job here with this program. Yeah, they're still a little leaky on defense at times, yes, but Hardison, the quarterback, has been solid for them. Gavin Hardison. They've got, Ronald Awatt, Deion Hankins and company running the ball successfully as well. I just think they're better. And UTEP's been a team I've backed a lot lately. I stayed off them last week because they were on against UTSA. And it was a good thing I did. But this week, I'm looking to come back on the train here with UTEP and bring that axe out, mining for units. mining for profits today for me with UTEP once again. Conor Mac, what do you think?
I lean UTEP as well. I think they're just all around the better football team. North Texas has played better. I mean, the Liberty game, they lost. They were winning. I know these shitty teams in Rice and Southern Miss, but they still won the game. And I just can't take North Texas. I just can't do it. So it's UTEP or pass here.
Big Ragoo.
Yeah, I think we get some solid play out of the UTEP defense. I mean, I like to back them when they're catching, not laying. I mean, it's an unusual spot, kind of similar to the South Carolina spot, the way the game sets up with the number. But I think, like you said, they're a better team, talent-wise. Hardison, I think he's up to the task. I think UTEP gets at least it done by at least field goal, maybe to a touchdown.
All right, boss.
Hey, this is a Big Ragoo knows that I'm high on fourth-year coaches, and this is Dana Dimel's spot right here with this UTEP team. So it's an easy call right here, UTEP or pass.
All right, we continue along here. Next up, we've got, as we continue along, Arkansas State, UL Monroe. UL Monroe, 3-point road favorite, 66.5 the total. Two bad teams, two horrendous defenses. I don't want either side. Maybe give me points. I'll probably look toward the over here, 66.5. Conor Mac, what do you think?
Arkansas State's horrible on the road. It's crazy to say Monroe's laying points, but they played better the last few weeks. Their defense has played a little bit better as well. I lay the 3 with UL Monroe here. Crazy. Hold your nose, plug your nose, lay the 3.
Yeah, I mean, they've shown life at times, obviously,
Yeah.
And of course, some stunning upsets, couple of them, in fact. Big Ragoo.
Yeah, Monroe's a lot better at home with the number and ATS, straight up and ATS, and then Arkansas State, the Red Wolves, man, they're having a season and a half in a bad spot, a bad season overall. So I got to take the home team here or pass.
Boss.
I think I like the over in that game. We already know Arkansas State can put some points on the board. UL Road, they show spots of playing good defense. That's how they got past some of those good teams. But when you're dealing with an offense like Arkansas State, it just kind of runs on beat, and you have to either keep up or just totally stop them. And I don't think they could either. I don't think they could totally stop him. So I think they try to keep up. So I like the over in that one.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah, it feels like, two bad teams, two terrible defenses. Let's just throw the ball around, have some fun. Let's put some points on the board. Let's get into this game, have some fun, and put up some points here. So that's why I think the end of the game will go over the time. They are capable offensively, both of these teams. Even Lane Hatcher taking over for James Blackman's been solid at the quarterback spot for Arkansas State. All right, next up as we continue along here, we've got Stanford, Oregon State. Oregon State, 12.5-point home favorites, 56.5 the total in this game. Stanford's running out of gas for sure. I mean, they were just absolutely steamrolled by Utah. Now, is Oregon State capable? They are at home, and they've been 4-0 straight up, 4-0 against the spread at home this year. I definitely strongly lean to laying the points. I don't know if I will, because at times still this team has home favorites in double-digit range. I don't fully trust, but it's still been a very good season for Oregon State. They're looking to bounce back after a poor game last week against Colorado, which was stunning to see that the game end up the way it did, 37-34 loss in overtime, 2 straight losses for Oregon State. But, boy, it's been rough sledding here for Stanford. It's just, I don't know if I want to lay this many points here with Oregon State in this spot. And keep in mind, Tanner McKee may not play, questionable due to an injury. And if he doesn't play, Jack West on the road at quarterback for Stanford, no thank you. Not from what I've seen from that guy. Conor Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, McKee doesn't play. I don't think they have a chance. I don't like laying this either, but it's Oregon State or pass in this game.
All right, Big Ragoo.
Yeah, I think Oregon State's going to try to pound the ball, keep running, and Stanford, they've been miserable running the ball. So I lean towards the under in this spot.
Boss.
Man, I'm still trying to figure out, how did Stanford go from sugar to shit? You beat Oregon and just flat out fall on your ass. I don't know about – I can't trust neither team right here. I mean, you can never look past Brian Shaw, too. Whenever coach plays a disciplined type football, man, you can never really count them all the way out. So I can't even take the recency biases and run with it. So I'm off.
Right. Next up, as we continue along here, we've got Air Force, Colorado State. Air Force 2.5-point road favorites, 45 the total in this one. Air Force, obviously, this should be an interesting game. You've got the triple option, of course, of Air Force, which has been pretty good for most of the year. They're off back-to-back losses, but to Army and San Diego State, tough loss in overtime against Army for that Air Force team last week, and they bounced back. They are tough and they're resilient, and I think they can. And if they do, I think they're going to win this game. So I definitely lean Air Force. I don't trust Colorado State. They've gone in the wrong direction the last 3 weeks, 0-3 straight up in ATS. Colorado State, the last 3 games as well, their run defense has come unglued, 224 rushing yards allowed per game. That ain't good when you're facing a team like Air Force. So give me the Falcons here, Air Force. Conor Mac?
Nothing on the side. Just give me the under here if I were to bet this total. Under.
Big Ragoo.
I'm with Connor, under.
Boss.
I love the under, but also, man, Veterans Day weekend, got to take Air Force.
Yeah, Air Force. It's definitely. I agree with that. I mean, I just.
And
think that,
I mean, I'll even make it make sense. I mean, Air Force, way more quality team.
Yep.
Colorado State has been getting by the slack of their ass, and playing a team like Air Force, who's consistent at what they do, and they have good defense as well. They may be able to slow this Colorado State team all the way down. And I don't think no hangover is carried over after the military versus military game. So I won't even buy into that. Air Force just been doing well, and I think they continue to do well. Here's a spot for them to get back, wins under their feet and move forward against the Colorado State team that in some respects we could say they've been getting lucky, but we cannot look past their defensive line and what they're doing over there on defense. But that little offense thing that they got going over there, it can be shut down. But the option, hey, could catch you off guard. So we'll see what happens.
All right, next up, we've got Arizona State, Washington. Arizona State, 5.5-point road favorites, 45.5 the total. I like ASU here. I don't usually like laying points on the road in Pac-12 play or anything, without a good reason. But Washington, I think that was their last Super Bowl, if you will, playing Oregon last week, and they fell short. I don't know if they can rally back. This offense is in shambles. They're at the point now Dylan Morris may not even play for Washington in this game. It could be Sam Heward. Arizona State's just the much better team, and I know at times defensively they've kind of struggled, but not today. Not against this anemic Washington offense. This should be a game where Herm Edwards' defense really puts the clamps down, and if they do, Arizona State can, I think, gradually pull away, win by at least a touchdown. Give me the Sun Devils here. Conor Mac?
I'll let you take them. This is a pass for me. Just going to be tough. I think Arizona State can get it done, but it's not going to be easy. I think Washington's defense is going to have something to say, but I couldn't get involved. This is just pass.
Big Ragoo.
I think Arizona State has enough balance, offense and running and passing, but Washington, they're going to shine in the passing department if they're going to slow them down. So I think that's going to offset with the run game. I think it's going to open up some opportunities. I kind of lean Arizona State, but I think this is a sneaky over game here. As bad as Washington plays offense, I think this game kind of sneaks over the total.
Yeah, that's that.
Boss, go ahead.
Yeah, that's that Pac-12 late night action over there. Anything can happen, but we know that Washington's strong point on their defense is the pass defense, and Arizona State doesn't necessarily need the pass, even though they do get a lot of their running yards from the quarterback, fleeing from the rush. But they can handle themselves on the ground as well. So I like Arizona State in this spot, and I like what you're saying about the over too. Could just get over.
Yeah, sneak over. Just close to 50, I think.
Some of those stupid penalties and replays and Pac-12 late night, that'll get you over.
Well, we'll see if that is indeed the case here. Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Kentucky, 21.5, 22-point road favorites, 52.5 the total. This is a little bit of a rivalry game. And look, it's been a tough schedule for Kentucky. Georgia, Mississippi State, Tennessee, the last 3 games. But the fact remains Kentucky's kind of tailed off a little bit these last few games. And Vanderbilt with Mike Wright at quarterback, is he sensational? No, but he can run. He's a dual threat. And we've seen this offense perk up a little bit, at least with him. And Vanderbilt's actually covered 2 of the last 3 games, competitive, at least in a couple of these spots lately. So it feels like a lot of points here. Lean Vandy. I haven't considered betting Vandy very much at all this year. I think I took them against Colorado State early in the year. That was it. And they won that game outright. I would consider them here. It's a lot of points, and Vandy's been a little bit more competitive lately, and Kentucky's struggling a little bit, 3 straight losses, and ATS as well. Conor Mac?
Pass. I don't want to lay this number with Kentucky on the road, and I particularly don't want Vandy. I know they played a little bit better, so get me out of here. Pass.
Yeah, Big Ragoo.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about laying the 21, and I definitely want to get behind Vandy, even though they have shown some recency to stay a little closer to the number. But 1-5 ATS, sayonara.
Boss.
Hey, Vandy's doing one of those Veteran Day salute thing, change the jersey and put the stuff on the helmet and all that too. But I don't think it's gonna help Vandy at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a pass for me.
All right, no problem. All right, next up as we continue along here, we've got this is a good one here.
A&M.
Texas A&M, Ole Miss. Texas A&M 2.5-point road favorites. 57 the total. Total's gone up. This was 53.5 up to 57. So obviously, betting markets thinking Zach Calzada, Isaiah Spiller, and this balanced A&M offense can move the ball against Ole Miss. I can't say I blame them for thinking that. Ole Miss defense thought it was going to be better. It really hasn't been as much as I thought. They were good last week against Liberty in the win, but in SEC play, we saw them give up 31 to Bo Nix and the Auburn Tigers, give up 26 to Tennessee. Arkansas shredded them. Alabama shredded them. So some issues still defensively for Lane Kiffin's team, and A&M looking to get some offense going here in this one. Ole Miss, Matt Corral's been banged up a little bit. Now he's got to face a A&M defense that, they've given up 14 or less in 3 straight games. They had the game where they gave up 38 even in the win against Alabama, but since then they've played better on the defensive side of the football. It's a tricky game. I've been waiting to see if a 3 shows up. I'd really like Ole Miss if I could get a full touchdown or full field goal here as a home dog, because I could see this being a 3-point game, but I can understand why the total's gone up a bit and would side with that as well, the over in this one. Lean Ole Miss, too, as a slight home dog. I don't know. Jimbo in these spots, we've seen him stumble. Road favorites, a team that's capable, and sometimes they've struggled to win some games like this in the past. What do you think here, C-Mac?
I'd be on Ole Miss here. I think this is a good spot for them at home. A&M's played really well lately. One thing is, though, the totals were different, 10 points higher, but they've had 4 straight unders, Ole Miss, in all those games. But now I think the number's kind of spot on. It's tough for me on the total. It's just a pass.
All right, Big Ragoo.
Yeah, this is the only second game for A&M on the road. 1-0 ATS in that spot, but Ole Miss catching points at home, I think it might be a tough ask. And like you said, Jimbo's history, so it's either Ole Miss or pass for me.
All right, boss.
Hey, man, I think just on a conspiracy theory level, I think Jimbo had a plan for this season, man. I think Jimbo really had a plan for his season. I think his team is a lot better than they showed at the beginning. And I think he gets it done right here against an Ole Miss team who we really like a lot. The public, everybody really likes this team. I like what they got going on over there, but I don't think they're ready yet. And I think that Ole Miss takes the L today.
All right, UConn is up 7-0, by the way, early against Clemson.
Yeah.
So look out here.
That's Comedy Central. Comedy Central.
Game on here for Dabo and his boys. All right, next up here as we continue along, it is New Mexico, Fresno State. Fresno 24-point home favorites, 51 the total. I mean, Fresno is certainly much better than New Mexico. No doubt about that. But New Mexico finally got a win last week against UNLV, which not saying much, but still, or actually they lost, I should say, 31-17. They won the week before against Wyoming, 14-3. That's the one I was thinking of. And then they follow that up with the UNLV loss. Fresno gets drilled 40-14 by Boise. Really, really shockingly bad game from Fresno, especially on offense. And when I look at New Mexico defensively, their pass defense hasn't been terrible, but they also haven't faced many quarterbacks that can do what Jake Haener does. And look at the quarter, they haven't faced anybody in terms of a pass offense like what Fresno does. I would think team total, though, instead of the 24. I think they could get 38 points. And I would look toward a Fresno team total in this game, over 37.5 in this one. What do you think, Connor? New Mexico, Fresno State.
I think they could get there too. I think they could cover this number as well, but I'm not going to pay to see it, so it's a pass.
All right, Big Ragoo.
Yeah, I think both teams, if you back them in these spots here, you haven't been making any money, even though Fresno's 4-1 straight up, but 2-3 on against the number. So that's a ton of points. But I mean, can they do it? Absolutely. Will I back them? No.
All right, we continue on here in the late night or the evening games, I should say. All right, next up we've got 7:30 Eastern, Arkansas, LSU. Arkansas 3-point road favorites, 59 the total in this game. I like Arkansas, and it's gone up from 1 to 3. I still like them at -3. What's LSU have in the tank? Coach O, Eddie Orgeron, is gone. The coaching staff's gone after the year. They just gave, that was their Super Bowl. That was their championship game last week against Alabama, and they gave it their all. Just battled, hung in there, really played a pretty solid game defensively, and found a way to lose in that one against Alabama. And now this is the spot where I think hangover settles in for a team that's had a disappointing year. Arkansas, I think, is the better team anyway. You're just asking them to lay a field goal on the road against, I think, an LSU team in a bad spot. I think it's a big day for the offense. Teams that can run the football have shredded LSU's defense. Arkansas can do that. KJ Jefferson complementing that well at the quarterback spot. I think they get it done. I'll go with the Pig Suey here. Razorbacks -3. Connor, what do you like here?
Nothing here. I don't want Arkansas laying points on the road. I haven't took them since they won all those games earlier in the year. I think this total might be a little high, though. LSU looked pretty good against Alabama. Will it continue? I don't know. Arkansas's defense has slipped, but 60 points, 59 here. I think this game could stay under.
All right, Big Ragoo.
Yeah, this is the first of 3 games at home for LSU. And like I said earlier on, I know I backed them early, and we know what the situation with Orgeron is here. But I think we're going to see a lot of loose football. Does LSU have talented players? Yes, they do. Will they be up to beating Arkansas at home? Maybe. But I'm going to go to the window with LSU one more time. Give me LSU plus and at Death Valley at night.
All right, boss.
Well, I got caught with my foot in my mouth a bunch of times about LSU. I think I teed off on them with UCLA early in the season, and they've been getting me ever since. So I got to stay away from LSU. Do whatever Ragoo say. He's been on LSU in all the right spots, but I don't understand the team still going. Orgeron gone, but hey, I'm off.
Loose cannons is what they are.
Yeah, definitely. You're right about that. But I think in this, it does set up well for Arkansas, and that's what I'm hoping for, that they can take advantage of it here. Kansas, Texas. Texas 31-point home favorite, 61 the total. Bijan Robinson injury, may or may not play at running back for Texas, and this is a running back injury that matters for sure. Casey Thompson thumb injury, it could be him or Hudson Card, so they're not sure about Robinson. They're not sure who's going to be at quarterback. Kansas has all kinds of issues. Jason Bean's got an upper body injury, so it could be Jalen Daniels at quarterback instead. Totally off this game. Don't want to lay this many points. I would lean to the team total over for Texas, but when you don't know if Robinson's going to play and you don't know who's going to be quarterback, it's hard to bet that. Conor Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, there's no way. Texas or pass. I'm not going to lay 31, though, here.
All right, Big Ragoo.
Both teams are reeling pretty bad, and no way we can get behind Kansas, and I really don't like what Texas has got going on over there. 4 or 5 in a row L's and ATS. I pass.
All right, boss.
Hey, I lean Kansas team total over because Texas just hasn't been able to show up and play defense against anybody. So they got a chance to get on the board, but Texas might cover that one though.
All right, we continue along here. Next up, it is let me just see. NC State, Wake Forest. Wake Forest, a 1-point home favorite, 64 the total. The money has trickled in all week on NC State. It's the bubble burst spot. Wake loses their first game. Defense has shown warts again for the Demon Deacons the last few weeks, struggling to stop teams as of late. NC State can run the football with their 2 running backs, Knight and Person. Devin Leary, a capable quarterback for NC State. And for Wake, after losing the heartbreaker, they had that game won, just like last year against North Carolina, and 2 years in a row against the Tar Heels. They blow it in the fourth quarter. It's going to be tough, I think, to get off the mat from that. For that reason, I like NC State, and it's also the better defense, NC State. So I like the Wolfpack here. I think they can win on the road in this one. I like Sam Hartman. I love that offense, but man, off that loss last week, and they're facing a team that's got a better defense, I think NC State can win this game on the road. What do you think, C-Mac?
Yeah, I want nothing to do with this game. It's just tricky. Wake, you talked about it after that devastating loss. They're 1.5 point favorites. I mean, and how in a Wake game can you take this under, even though it's come way down? NC State does have the better defense. I mean, I lean with them, but I can't bet it here, so I'd pass.
Big game for NC State because, in terms of the they're half of the division in the Atlantic Division there. They're 4-1. Wake Forest 5-1, so they've got a good chance to overtake Wake Forest, and they'd have the tiebreaker if NC State wins this game here. Big Ragoo.
Yeah, these are the two best teams in the ACC right now in my book. You know what I mean? With FSU and Clemson and Miami having some downtime quality-wise. But, hey, listen, it's going to live up to the billing. I think whoever has the ball last is going to win this game. NC State has a better rushing defense without question. But, Wake, they're going to hurry up and run it up all they can. So I wouldn't bet the total or the side here. I just sit back and watch this game.
All right, next up as we continue along here, we've got in the 7:30 Eastern Notre Dame and Virginia. We've got the an ACC team involved here as well, Virginia. And Notre Dame opened 4.5-point road favorites. It's now 7.5 points on the road for Notre Dame here against Virginia. 63 the total. That's also injury related because I think Brennan Armstrong for Virginia is out. That's what I've got to believe. I know he's been questionable all week long at quarterback for Virginia, and the fact the number's going up means he's probably out, I would think, for this game, or they're about to rule him out. And look, he's been the saving grace for Virginia because their defense has been atrocious. They've given up 28 to Miami, 33 to Louisville, 40 to Georgia Tech, 66 before their bye week. They gave up 66 against BYU. So they better hope that Bronco Mendenhall fixes things, uses the bye week to fix this defense. Notre Dame's playing their best football, 4 straight wins and covers against Tech, USC, North Carolina, and Navy. I don't want to step in front of Notre Dame right now, especially if Brennan Armstrong's not going to play, and it's probably likely he's not going to play. So that's why the money move on Notre Dame here. Conor Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, Notre Dame. If Armstrong plays, I like the over even better, but Notre Dame's going to put up probably 50 on their own. So as long as Virginia with that backup quarterback get a few touchdowns, I think it push this thing over.
All right, Big Ragoo.
I was all over the over too, Connor. That's the spot I liked because they're not going to be able to fix this defense. They haven't all season. They've been an over team all year. We've been preaching it. So this is definitely an over spot, even maybe with the backup quarterback, and maybe look towards a team total Notre Dame over this total also.
Yeah, the Notre Dame team. And look, Jack Cohen and the offense, they're lighting it up now. They're starting to get it rolling. Kyron Williams running the ball. I mean, it's been much better Notre Dame offense the last few weeks. And Boss loves to see that, the Notre Dame guy that he is. What do you think here?
Oh, man, I got to triple check that this quarterback is out because he worried me. I was going to do fan bet, take Virginia and hope that Notre Dame wins, just the lesser of two evils. But now that this guy is out, I think I'm going to go ahead and take Notre Dame. But I'm going to look more for a live spot because Notre Dame, they kind of slip up at the beginning. They've been starting slow, all kinds of stuff. So if they can go down by a touchdown and I get a good number, I think I'm going to jump on Notre Dame right there. But I was worried about that quarterback, but, it was been a good test for our defense to see how real that defense is. That defense has been real all over the board. So I don't know about the total even going over if they don't have that quarterback up against that defense because that defense is kind of stingy sometimes. So I don't know. I might lean under in this one, but the only bad part about that is on the road, Kelly will keep scoring until he can't score no more. Not like at home where he'll sit in the backups and try to, run the ball and waste the clock out. So I don't know. I'm going in on Notre Dame, man, trying to find me a good line. I don't like that 7.5 though, but going to try to find me a good line with Notre Dame.
All right, we go to TCU and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, 11.5-point home favorites, 54 the total in this one. Maybe there's life in TCU after the coaching change. Patterson out, and what do they do in their first game? Very impressive. They beat Baylor, so give TCU credit for that. for that reason, I'm off the game. I mean, I still think Oklahoma State's much better team. Their defense could overwhelm TCU, but you are laying 11.5, and we did see a pulse from TCU last week. So I lean to the Cowboys. I still think they could really make things difficult for TCU, but I'm going to pass on the game. Conor Mac?
I'm passing too. TCU might have a little bit of life, like you talked about. Oklahoma State's the better team. Just kind of a lazy, tricky game. That's why, I mean, if I had to, I'd lay the points, but I don't love it.
Big Ragoo.
Yeah, you got a leaky defense against a solid defense, and maybe this kind of is a get-right spot for Oklahoma moving forward towards the Big 12 championship. I don't like the number, but I would have to lean to Oklahoma State laying the wood, even though they haven't supported that all season long.
3-0 New Mexico State. Upset alert for Alabama.
Let's go.
Already got a field goal on the
money line parlay. Connecticut and New Mexico State. Cracking the safe open.
UConn and New Mexico State money line parlay. What the fuck would that pay? It would make you set for life. Whatever you bet on that.
Yeah, they couldn't pay.
Yeah. They're both leading right now. Alabama and Clemson, like the only two teams that have been national champions like the last few years. And they're both leading right now, UConn and New Mexico State.
Temporary excitement.
Yeah, temporary excitement. Yep. All right, we continue along. Just a couple games left here on the Saturday college football kickoff show. Colorado, UCLA. UCLA 17.5-point home favorites, 57 the total. I'm off this game too. Colorado, though, I'll say this about Colorado. They're showing some signs of life, improved play down the stretch here. The big win against Oregon State last week, but Colorado on the road still been pretty sketchy. They've got blown out by Oregon, blown out by Cal. Most of their good games, competitive games, have been at home. On the road, they haven't been. So for that reason, I'm going to stay away. But I lean Colorado, believe it or not. I just don't trust UCLA in this price range. Big Ragoo?
Yeah, we're not usually rushing to the window to bet Colorado's offense, but this could be a game where they might sneak in with the number. I mean, we're needing 3 scores to beat us, but I'm not going to back either side here. I'm pass.
All right, boss.
Well, you know how we say on this show that UCLA has to win by at least putting up 30 points. So with UCLA going to put up 30 points, I'm going to lean to the over on this one.
All right. A few games left now as we continue along here on this Saturday college football kickoff show. Next up, we've got Nevada and Washington State, Oregon. Oregon 13.5-point home favorites, 57.5 the total in this one. It really has been amazing to see what this Washington State team's been able to do, and they can get bowl eligible with a victory in their remaining games. They beat Arizona State 34-21. They're 6-0 ATS their last 6 games, even with the coaching staff removed. They've been impressive. Their defense has improved this year, and they're getting good quarterback play from Jaden DeLora, the sophomore. Keeps getting better. Oregon has played, well throughout the course of the year. Their only loss was to Stanford. They've obviously got playoffs on their mind. They're in one of the 4 spots right now. Oregon. But here's the issue here with Oregon going into this game. They're laying big points against a Washington State team that, lost by 2 to BYU. Their greatest margin of defeat since late September was 11 against Utah on the road, and they covered in that game. I got to look at Washington State plus the points or nothing here. Ride the wave of a team that's covered 6 in a row and has been obviously much better than the betting markets have given them credit for. So I would look at the Cougars if I bet this game. What do you think, Big Ragoo? Washington State, Oregon.
I know it's puzzling, really is. I mean, 0-5 ATS at home is Oregon, right? And they're number 3 team in the country. Well, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So in this spot here, I'm not going to say they're going to get to the number at a certain point in time. They got to get double digits. I mean, that seems awful huge. It didn't make sense to me. It's a don't make sense game. Give me Oregon laying the wood.
Conor Mac, Washington State, Oregon.
Yeah, I can't lay it here with Oregon. No way, no how. Washington State, give me the 2 touchdowns, plus 14.
Boss.
Lean under a little bit as well.
Hey, that's late night Pac-12 action. I'm off, but I was expecting another duck out of Big Ragoo since he's taking the ducks. If it looked like a duck, sound like a duck, take a duck. Oregon
take a duck. And do I give up? No. Give me the Ducks.
Yeah, it's a pass for me, man. I don't want no parts of that late night stuff.
Well, we're ending with 2 Mountain West games to wrap up the show. So Boss might have something on these. Utah State, San Jose State. We got San Jose State 4.5-point home favorites, 57.5 the total. I lean to the Utah State side. We talked about this game Monday. Connor and I lean to Utah State with the points, but their offense with Logan Bonner and Peasley and San Jose State, a team that they have Starkel back. And their offense is a lot better, clearly, with Nick Starkel back. Nick Nash was not getting it done throwing the ball for the Spartans. But I think Utah State can hang in this game. San Jose State, laying 4.5. It feels like a down-to-the-wire game. I'll take the points with Utah State. Total's actually gone up a bit. And look, San Jose State's better offensively with Starkel, and Utah State is still better offensively than they are defensively. So we might see this game actually just get up and over that 57 as well. What do you think, C-Mac?
I lean the points, too, with Utah State. I know Starkel is back. I see it kind of as a field goal game. I haven't bet it yet. I'm just kind of going to wait. I don't think it's going to move too much. But, yeah, I lean the 4.5 here, Utah State.
Big Ragoo.
San Jose owes me a little money on the over, and I think this game kind of feels like an over to me. I'll let my man elaborate on that a little bit more. But, yeah, I like the over. I lean towards the over in this spot.
All right, Boss.
The over's a nice play. Utah State defense has holes in it, and San Jose State was prided off of a good defense, but they don't play as good as they was prided off of. But the thing that drew me off of this one, and I'm not too sure if this might be senior night over here at San Jose State. I'd have to double check, but they got two last games at home. A lot of times they do it the game before the last one. The last one is Fresno State. So if this is senior night, this is a team with I think they have 9 to 12 super seniors that stay back. No, they had 9 just on defense. So Starkel's a 6-7 year senior. I mean, if it's senior night, give me San Jose State first half at home all the time.
All right, liking San Jose State early. Final game, Nevada, San Diego State. We've got San Diego State 3-point home favorites, 45 the total. I'm going to say the same thing I said when I took Fresno against San Diego State earlier this season when Fresno won. You put San Diego State's defense against a good quarterback and a good passing game, they're not the same defense. You can move the football against that secondary. Jake Hayner did it, and I expect Carson Strong to do it. And I think he'll lead Nevada to the victory. Never mind the points. Nevada wins the game, I think. +3, but obviously, like I say, every underdog I bet the money line too. But give me Nevada here. I think they beat San Diego State. Conor Mac, what do you think?
I'm going to stay off this one. I just want nothing to do with it. But you're right. If I were to be on his side, I'd take the 3 with Nevada. I think this could be a close game in the end, so I grab the points. And I think it's going to be a close game either way.
Big Ragoo.
Yeah, I think it's a last possession type of game. I mean, it's a coin flip for me, but I would lean with you, Ian. I would take San Diego State. I think they're 8-1 in the last 9 straight up, so I'll take that trend and move with it.
All right, Boss.
Okay, my guts say that the San Diego State defense is something to deal with, and it gives Nevada a hard time in that spot right there. That could be the reason why they're favored in this game. But my mind says Nevada is on a path to win the Mountain West or at least play in the championship. This is Carson Strong's super senior year as well. Him and the coach been putting this together for a long time. They got over the hump a couple times this year against some big teams, and it's not that much to get over the hump on San Diego State, who offense is close to horrible. But the defense over there is like a culture shock, and it changes the way that coaches have to do things. So I don't know, Jay Norvell's seen this San Diego State team enough times to have them dialed in this time, and I say take Nevada on the money line.
I agree, and yeah, this is battle for first in the Mountain West division.
Yeah,
Mountain West division. And then the Mountain Division, the other one, Utah State is leading that. So Utah State in first in the Mountain Division. Nevada, San Diego State tied for first in the West Division. So this is a huge game. Someone's going to be leading the West Division after this one. Like I say, the one time San Diego State faced a good quarterback and a dynamic pass offense, they struggled. They got ripped for 30 points by Fresno. Their one loss this year. So I think Nevada can have similar success tonight against the Aztecs. Great stuff with Connor, with Big Ragoo and DJ Big Boss. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Best bets coming up. First, messages from our sponsors. All right, Southtown 101. When you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke. Southtown 101. Manscaped, promo code PubSports. 20% off your purchase. Use that promo code PubSports. And same with mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. Get involved. It is that time of year. All the sports, Bitcoin, accepted currency for your deposit as well. mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. All right, it is time to wrap up with best bets to wrap up the show. Conor Mac, best bet.
I narrowed it down to a couple, but I'll go with one we kind of all agreed on a little bit. I hope so. In this one, group hug, as boss say. Purdue plus 20 and a half here. Purdue covers against Ohio State.
I agree with that for sure. Purdue plus the points against Ohio State. Best bet for Conor Mac. Big Ragoo, best bet.
I'm going to stick with what we know as far as defense goes. Give me the Bulldogs to keep Tennessee under 17.5 points.
Right, there you go. Tennessee Vols under team total. Best bet for Big Ragoo. DJ Big Boss, best bet.
Hey, we're going to save the best for last. We're going to add some juice on it. Let's take Nevada on the money line.
I like that one, too. Nevada money line against San Diego State. Best bet for DJ Big Boss. And my best bet, I'm going to roll with Arkansas. Great spot, -3. I think LSU is going to be in hangover mode, and Arkansas, I think, is the better team anyway. Arkansas -3 against LSU for my best bet for this Saturday card. And that's a wrap. Another great college football kickoff show on a Saturday in the books. Thanks to my colleagues for joining me and everyone in the chat for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, once again for the Saturday college football kickoff show right here on Pub Sports Radio. Make sure you check out the NFL Pub Hub tomorrow with Jimmy the Bag. There's UFC stuff going on, all kinds right here at Pub Sports Radio. So make sure you tune in right here on Pub Sports Radio all weekend long and all week long. Conor Mac, Big Ragoo, DJ Big Boss, thanks to them. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll see you next Saturday once again for the Saturday College Football Kickoff Show right here on Pub Sports Radio.